Welcome back to the Hitstick, Dallas. How are you, buddy?
What's good?
Doing all right, man. Crazy football these last few weeks, man. It's actually been an insane end of the season.
Yep.
You ready for the playoffs?
Hell yeah.
We got a good friend here with us tonight. Doobie, how are you,
He's
buddy?
beautiful.
I'm good,
Look at this
man.
beautiful
Thank
man.
you for
Look at
having
him.
me on.
Look at that beautiful man.
Yeah. Y'all got another face on the
Yeah.
on the cast this
Yeah,
week.
now we just need yours, and then we'll be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Coming soon,
so
coming soon.
you want to recap Week 18? It's a good week of football. Some actually big upsets too for some of these teams.
Yep.
Some big bad losses for some teams that definitely needed them.
I don't want to be reminded.
No, you don't want to be reminded of that one.
I don't. Really don't.
There's some good games though, for real.
Yeah.
We started off the Chiefs and the Raiders. It was a great game. Chiefs obviously blowing out the Raiders
Yep.
in Vegas.
Yep.
Which was surprising because you thought that, like, I don't know, like second time they play, like interconference, like you'd think that there was going to be some sort of fight that was put up
Yeah,
by the Raiders.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Chiefs came out and they played. It was really like
They did.
honestly a walkthrough for the playoffs, like a practice almost. Like they
it was a
experimented
huge
a little
seed,
bit,
right?
but they did what they needed to do, and they played football.
Yeah.
But they came
No
out
doubt.
they
That
came out
was-
with their starters. That was the big thing. Is like they played their starters.
Yeah, well, they were trying to lock up one seed.
Yeah.
And so that was what was the line of that game? Like, I don't know, it was like 9.5, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And that
and
was like,
Yeah.
that's
I
on
hate
the road.
big numbers. I hate big numbers, but that was still like, I mean, because that was at least with some thought that the Raiders would at least put up a fight. And what's his name? Who's the quarterback for Raiders right now?
Jared Stidham.
Yeah.
Stidham looked great the week before.
He did. The thing is, like, with these quarterbacks playing at the end of the year, a lot of them haven't had a lot of tape for them, especially like
Yeah.
Stidham coming out. Stidham has not played. In the amount of time he's been in the league, he's never started before. He's maybe taken how many snaps? Like, I could probably count on my hand how many snaps he's taken since he's entered the league.
Yeah. No
So
doubt.
there's no film on him. You see it like even Purdy. Like Purdy came out his first week and put up the numbers he did. It's
point.
another thing. Sam Howell did it this week as well. Like there's no film on them, so like teams can't really prepare. They have to like adjust on the spot for these guys. So their first week,
no
at least,
doubt.
especially for a lot of the like quarterbacks coming out, is there's no film, so they can't adjust right away. These guys put up some bigger numbers, and then they kind of slow off a little bit. He didn't really slow off, I wouldn't say, but he didn't put up like the crazy numbers he did the first week.
Yeah, no doubt.
He looked good though. I will say that. He doesn't look like a terrible quarterback by any means.
He's looked better than Derek Carr has.
Yeah, I will say that definitely. Carr, that's a rough spot for Carr in my opinion. They've
Bro,
faded
but,
from
like,
him so quickly.
I think that the idea there's so much turmoil like in that franchise, and we have no idea
100%.
if McDaniel can even coach. Like,
I don't
and
know.
so-
The saddest thing
and-
about it, they can't even afford to fire him.
bro, I don't know, just the entire like the whole concept of them like bailing on Derek Carr that like actually made me mad because like he brought them through so much.
He did.
And they were like
Yeah.
so quick to bail on him. I don't know. I mean, obviously that means that they really liked what they saw at Jared Stidham. But
That or they just want to start over, rebuild.
yeah, I mean, like, but there's so much talent on that roster though.
They,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they,
offensively,
they,
loaded.
they underperformed so bad this year.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
so
what
So
I've
the
been
amount
preaching
of
all
rock-
year.
yeah.
Is that team improved in the free agency, like last
Oh, yeah.
offseason. They improved and got worse. It made no sense. at
Nah,
all.
I think
and that was with an interim head coach last year, bro.
Yes,
We-
exactly.
We
It
talked
makes
about
no
this a few
sense.
weeks ago, Dallas. It comes down to Josh McDaniel not being able to get the talent out of the players that he has.
Yeah, like Derek
Yeah.
Carr got a top 3 wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
He
easily.
had- like that receiving core is great. He's got a great tight end. They have a great running back. They have a decent O line. I wouldn't say it's great. They have like a good left tackle. The rest of the O line is pretty average.
Yeah, middle of the
like
road.
that team is so much better than they played all year long.
Bro,
Definitely.
If like, and they have a strong pass rush. Like, all of their defense isn't like legit, but the fact is, most important thing about defense is having a strong pass rush. Like, when you have that, everything else can be figured out.
It's true. Yeah, they
It's
didn't get they didn't get the play out of Chandler Jones this year that I thought they would have gotten. Chandler Jones
Yeah, that's
definitely
okay.
he definitely regressed this year. He definitely showed. And they didn't really have much outside of that. Like the defensive tackles up the middle, they're big run stopper guys, but they're not like blitzers.
Yeah.
Who's that other dude they have in the end? I'm forgetting his name, bro.
Max Crosby. That dude
Max
had
Crosby
a
is the
season.
second best.
Crosby.
That dude had
he
a
had
season.
a great season. He played out of his mind this year.
See, I think
And when you have
I
a
think
guy
they would've-
like that,
yeah,
a lot of things can be figured out.
100%.
You could argue a lot of this is schematic as well. Like the fact that you have talent like that, and you do still have Chandler Jones, even if he regressed, that's still like talent. You know what I'm saying? And you can make arguments that even defensively, schematically, is just poor.
Yeah, I think if Chandler Jones had a season that he normally would have had, like last season's Chandler Jones compared to this season's night and day. Had he had maybe even like half as good of a season as he had last year, I think they would have had a pretty solid defense. Because that 1-2 punch of Jones and Max Crosby coming off the edges would have probably been scary, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah, so
in theory, it was.
I mean, when you sign him, that's what their theory was. It's like you're gonna have two elite pass rushers coming off the edges, and then you have two stud defensive tackles in the middle blocking the runs. I mean, you just don't get that out of your other guy that you signed to a big contract from what they did anyway. So I mean, it's a tough spot. Like it's again, it's another thing. I think McDaniel struggled to get his talent out of the players that he had. Tough.
Or he's just a horrible coach, whichever one it is.
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
Hey, he's failed before as well, right?
Yeah.
He's failed before.
He failed in
I'm
he was
pretty sure he
Denver.
was wasn't he like the Patriots OC when they had that scandal of like looking at like playbooks or whatever, or am I wrong there?
You're right. He went from New England to Denver, failed in Denver, went back to New England. He had the 2-day being a head coach for the Colts. They voided his contract. He went back to New England. So he's not the answer for them by any means.
Coordinator. Like he's been a good coordinator. He was a good coordinator with Brady and with New England in general. And obviously, I mean, he took Mac Jones to like different levels last year. I mean,
definitely
regression of him as well. But he's a good coordinator. But just because you're a good coordinator does not mean you're a good head coach.
It hasn't translated
time and time again.
No, it hasn't translated. I think it's the same thing with Nathaniel Hackett. I think that's the same thing. Hackett was a good coordinator.
I don't even know if he was. I think that it was Rodgers' brilliance.
Maybe so.
But you're spot on.
Yeah,
I mean, situation my team has.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Ravens. Yeah, with Greg Roman.
Greg Roman's terrible. Lamar carries him.
Yep. Next game we had was the Jags-Titans. So this game was actually a really good game. Jags came out. They played very good football. They played to win that division, and they did.
Jaguars in the playoffs, bro.
Trevor Lawrence has had a breakout season this year. Like he's figured himself out, and it's actually great to see because I actually like Trevor Lawrence. I liked him when they drafted him. Yeah. I liked him at Clemson. He's struggled at times, but I think he was getting held back by the coach he had before. Frick, what the hell's the guy's name? I can't even think of the name. Who the hell's the coach in Jacksonville?
Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson's figured it out for them, I think. I think he's had Trevor Lawrence come out of his shell. He's actually developed into a good pocket passer. He's making reads that he didn't do his first couple seasons in the NFL. He wasn't making good reads his first few seasons. I think the biggest thing for them now is to figure out their run game. Because when Etienne gets things going, it opens that offense up even more. Yeah. I think that's what they have to do this coming weekend against the Chargers. So that's definitely one thing for them.
Beating the Chargers because the Chargers just lost a bunch of key players.
They did lose a lot of people this week, and I'll talk about that more. The Titans, they didn't have the quarterbacks that they needed to get to the playoffs. The injuries to that team really hurt them, especially down the stretch. Losing Tannehill does not help them in the slightest. Malik Willis couldn't get things done. They went to Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is not the answer either. He's looked good, but I mean, he's not been great. It's tough for them. Derrick Henry tried his best to carry that team. They ran him into the dirt the last few weeks.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you what, like, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, because everyone liked him coming out, right? Like, I mean, he was the prodigy. He was going to be the GOAT. But then he comes in, he has Urban Meyer, who literally, I mean, this guy's got, like, women dancing on him in clubs. So, like, I mean, that guy was such a disaster that Trevor Lawrence came in the league set for failure.
He did,
and
really.
Now we're getting to see exactly, like, this is what we expected to see last year. And he's coming into it in a huge way. I tell you what, though. They the Jacksonville Jaguars won this against the Titans in spite of Trevor Lawrence because he did not play very well.
This game, no, he really
And-
didn't.
Yeah.
And that's what's like promising about Jacksonville is the fact that your superstar quarterback did not play well, yet you still found a way to win a huge game and win your division when it matters most. Like that is huge, and that is why I do think that's gonna be a really close game. Because I think Justin Herbert's a little bit more proven. Like we just watched in a big game, Trevor Lawrence didn't play very well. So personally, I'm actually going with the Chargers here, just because Justin Herbert to me is a little more proven, and I think the best player like in that game is going to be Austin Eckler, and so
I could see that.
because of that, I'm going. I think that's one of the two games that's really tough to call, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. I will say them getting the weapons that they did for Trevor Lawrence helped him develop much better too. Like they gave him
Jones,
receivers,
Absolutely.
they gave him Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk has literally been like their
Yeah, it's
their
been-
top dog every week.
It's been
I
him
agree.
and Zay Jones, man.
Between the two
I
of them,
agree.
yeah.
But can we make the argument that which one of those is actually elite?
Between the two of them, I couldn't tell you because it's one or the other every week. Like if
And
Kirk
I would
struggles, Zay Jones pops off. If Zay Jones struggles, Christian Kirk pops off. And if
Well, I
both
would
of them
argue
struggle,
that-
freaking Evan Engram pops off.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's
And-
come to life too this year.
That's because of Trevor Lawrence.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
if you put those guys anywhere else, I mean, I haven't watched Zay Jones very much, but Christian Kirk's been around for a while. He's
Yeah.
not like new.
No.
And I mean, those guys aren't like he's not some superstar, but he was awesome this year because of like there's no one else to catch passes, and when you have a quarterback that's that good, someone's gonna look great.
It's true. Yeah, definitely. It's a good win for them though. They needed that win to get to the playoffs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they clinched it up. So good for them.
Talk about just a good win for a franchise.
Yeah, they
Like,
they
a
needed it.
franchise that's just
I'd like a-
been in the dumps, man. Like
They-
I can't remember the
definitely did.
last time the Jags were in the playoffs, bro. I can't remember the last time.
with what's his name, the quarterback that got overpaid that was terrible. They were completely carried by that defense that had Jalen Ramsey. Who was the quarterback?
They
that
had
year,
Nick Foles at
bro?
one point. I know that much.
That was
Well, I
it
don't think it was
was,
Nick Foles,
uh,
but they had Nick Foles at one point.
no, yeah. They went to the AFC Championship game, then they lost in the championship game because they had their quarterback literally couldn't do anything. I'm gonna look this up.
I don't remember a lot of Jags quarterbacks. I can't lie to you. I remember running backs.
2017.
I think so. Yeah, I think
2017 was
17,
the run. They made it to the championship game.
yeah. They made it to AFC Championship. That's
Jags
what I'm saying.
2017. Let me look at this roster. I don't remember this team.
That roster was stacked. Blake Bortles.
Blake
bro.
Bortles. Thank you.
Oh,
Blake Bortles.
This team was stacked though.
It was loaded, bro. That was like it was a little bit. They got like a bunch of guys from like the Florida State and Auburn teams that were like loaded, like back in like 2014, 15.
Miles Jack. They had
Yeah.
AJ Bouye,
UCLA
who
guy.
and AJ Bouye was him. Jalen Ramsey on
Yeah.
top of that. Marcel Darius, Calais Campbell, Dante Fowler when
Yeah.
Fowler was good. Yeah, they had Yannick
my
and
gosh.
Goku.
oh my gosh.
Bro.
Yeah,
Oh
that team
my
was
gosh.
loaded. That was Leonard
Absolutely.
Fournette and Chris Ivory when Ivory was decent. They also had T.J. Yeldon, and then Keelan Cole, Alan
Mm.
Hearns, Marquise Lee when those
Yeah.
guys were solid. Yeah, that team was
Dude.
stacked. Mercedes Lewis.
That man's
And,
been
like,
around
they had, like,
forever.
Yeah,
And that defense, I mean, that defense overall, just like their offense was awesome, but that defense was so freaking
oh,
loaded.
that was a
like, you
scary
just-
defense. Definitely.
100%. And so, like, it's just so awesome to see them, like, and since that point, they haven't won.
They had Allen Robinson on that team too, but he was on IR that year.
Yeah, he had that one year where he had like 1,500 yards, and then he was like respected out the league.
Yep.
And then he's been terrible ever since.
Yeah, he's fallen way off since then.
I draft him every year in fantasy. Good lord.
That's tough. The Steelers Browns game was actually a good game. I wasn't expecting the Steelers to do what they did, honestly. I had the Browns actually beating the Steelers in this game, but the Steelers won to give them a chance to make the playoffs. So I respect how they came out and played because they
And
needed to win.
protect-
They needed to win.
and- Yeah, 100%. And to protect that never being below 500 record for Mike Tomlin.
That too. Yep. They
I said it on our cast last week.
You
I was
did.
like, these dudes are about to come play some inspired football.
Yep.
Mike Tomlin's speech before the game. y'all make me lose this game, y'all are gone. It's probably something. It's probably something crazy like that.
I'm
like,
sure.
I'll switch my whole roster. I don't care.
Yeah, none of you are playing here next year if you make me lose.
They came out and beat the.
Crazy
crap out
though,
of us.
Kenny Pickett only completed
Yeah.
13 of his 29 passes in this game. That's
It was yeah.
tough one for them. But
Does
they
Kenny Pickett have franchise upside? Is a
I
question.
think so.
there.
I honestly,
he
think
hasn't had a
does.
full year to prove himself, in my opinion.
The last 7 games, he's honestly like he hasn't done anything nuts, but you can see where like he could be a really good quarterback. I mean, he like some of those 2-step drop backs, and he just throws a dot. Like I don't know. I think he could be a franchise QB.
He's improved drastically since he came
Yes.
back from his
Mhm.
concussion. I will
Yeah.
say that from the moment he had that concussion to when he came back, it's night and day on the flip side of either side of that concussion, because like before that he was making horrible reads, he was making horrible passes, his throws did not look confident in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's throwing bullet passes, he's making triple, like 2 or 3 reads before he makes a pass, which it doesn't even look like the same player in my opinion from what I've seen. I mean, he still has his struggles here and there. He's a rookie, and he also did not have like the chemistry with the receiving core. He didn't play with the ones in preseason or in the offseason at all in training camp or any of that. Did not start the season with the ones. He was a backup quarterback to Trubisky. Got thrust in. I mean, you have to give him time, in my opinion. Like he needs at least another season, like full season, in my opinion, before we can even like give a read on what he's going to be. I think he has potential, though. From what I've seen especially the last few weeks, he has looked drastically better than what he started out as.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I was actually at Kenny Pickett's first preseason game. I was there in person, in Pittsburgh, but Seattle was playing, and my brother was on the Seahawks at the time, and so that was my brother's first preseason game. So I was actually at that game.
That's dope.
But here's my thing on Kenny Pickett. What we're seeing is gonna be like the good moments right now are pretty much what he's gonna be. Like there's not like flashes of wow, he could be special. And that's what's really hard about the NFL that we have today, because there's guys like Joe Burrow, like Josh Allen, like Patrick Mahomes, like Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. There's guys that are like
He didn't say Lamar.
Lamar, sure.
Damn.
You can throw in Jalen Hurts at this point, Kyler
Yeah.
Murray. I mean, you have like
messing.
so many of these guys that's like at Kenny Pickett's best, he's a good game manager.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
When you have a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's not good enough.
You're coming
so
from
I think that's a really like playoffs is not the standard. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be vying for a championship, and I don't know that Kenny Pickett is ever going to be a guy that I'm like, oh, he could win a game when the defense isn't playing well against a good team.
It's true.
Like I trust him in the barn burner. You just don't have that. There's too many guys in this league that you do have that, and so I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he's Kirk Cousins' best case scenario.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is great. Kirk Cousins is awesome. I love Kirk Cousins, but he's not gonna win you a championship.
I can see that. I genuinely think that like I need to see more from him before I
that's
make
fair.
a final judgment, because like he didn't start the first 4 or 5 games or whatever. Like he came in. I think he came in the 5th game of the season or something like that.
Yeah.
He also had the concussion. He missed a few games, came back, played
He also came
slows.
against 2 of the best defenses in the NFL. He played the Jets his first game and the Bills his second game.
That's also
I mean,
true.
Like, that's not really setting him up for success.
With no chemistry with the receivers. Yeah. So I'm not gonna make a final judgment yet. I have to see more before I
He was
knock
throwing
him.
balls to Sauce Gardner's first game, bro.
Because he could come out next
Speaking-
year and fry. So
Speaking of Sauce Gardner, I actually played customs in Warzone with him back in Verdansk. So he hosted customs. My brother and I played in it. We fried. We did awesome. And then he invited me and my brother to come and play in 42 Doug, the Rapper's customs. And I played 2 games, and I had 18 and 17 kills in those 2 games.
Hell
in
yeah.
Customs.
That's awesome.
Bro, that was so lit.
W.
Sauce is that guy is interesting. He plays with Joe, plays with Breadman.
Oh,
plays with
yeah.
all those guys now.
Yeah,
I
he
watch him all
does.
the time. He's hilarious.
Yeah, bro.
The flip side of that game, though, Deshaun Watson does not look good, in my opinion. I don't know if
He-
it's the fact that the Browns just don't have the talent that I
He-
think they need to have
he-
like a solid roster. You have Nick Chubb, who's obviously your number one running back there. Kareem Hunt faded at the end of the year, in my opinion, running the football.
Free agent.
I don't know what. Yeah, I know he's gone. He's not coming back there, in my opinion.
He's gonna start somewhere else, 100%.
Well, we'll see on that, but I mean, the team just does not have the talent that I think, were expecting to have, especially signing or trading for Deshaun Watson. Like, obviously, he came back from a year and change suspension and whatnot.
I honestly, I don't think I'm not gonna give an opinion on Deshaun Watson. He came back. What week was it? He played how many
12.
games? Yeah,
Well, week 13.
12. That's
Week
so
13.
late in the season.
Yeah.
And he was only allowed to practice like 20 days prior to that.
Yeah,
So
before
he wasn't allowed to-
after missing a whole season plus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like he's really
Mhm.
not like up to par, up to speed right now. So
Yeah.
like
But
I
and I tell you what though, I actually don't fully agree with the talent thing because you got Mari Cooper, you have an incredible offensive line, you have a super strong run game that's consistently a strong run game.
Very
so
true.
Teams are stacking the box against you. Therefore, you're getting a lot more one-on-one coverage, and you got Njoku, who's an awesome tight end.
This is
And so,
facts.
like, I think that there's still weapons there. I do agree with Dallas. It's like, if anybody gets a bit of a pass, it's gonna be the fact that he missed so much. Like,
I could see that.
and
Yeah.
he came in when they were almost mathematically impossible.
This
to make
team
the
would be
playoffs.
hot.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, no, definitely. Like, if he had started the season,
So-
the record would probably be reversed, in my
AFC
opinion.
North would have a four-headed monster.
I could see
Yeah.
I could see 10 wins on that team with Deshaun Watson
Oh,
starting.
dude.
At least.
Problem is that division's brutal.
It's a tough division,
No matter
yeah.
where,
Division
no matter where
doesn't
everything's at,
quit,
it's such
bro.
a well-coached division.
Yeah.
It's such a
Quit. I hate it.
See, that's
bro.
probably
Yeah,
that's
bro.
probably a thing though. Is like
Why am I a
m-
Ravens
it's
fan?
maybe more so for the Cleveland Browns is maybe it's a coaching thing with not getting the talent out of the players. Again, I think it might be
Yeah,
that
well,
case because Amari Cooper underperformed this year. If you look at his stats,
Oh,
he definitely
did.
underperformed.
He did underperform, but he also didn't really get solid quarterback play to play well.
exactly.
That's-
I agree with
that's
that. He's at the
true.
mercy of the quarterback.
Yeah,
play.
every receiver is in that aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say Donovan Peoples-Jones looked amazing this year. I think that dude has talent.
Yeah.
Dude,
He's been
he
a
was
sleeper all year
cooking.
long for me. He
was cooking.
RP.
I can't even lie, bro.
Yeah.
He was cooking. He was eating.
Yeah, as a number 2 behind Amari Cooper, I think he's the number 1 in my opinion.
That's a perfect
Ooh.
receiving quarterback.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'll take that hot take. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones
love
is the
it.
number 1 over Amari Cooper there, in my opinion.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, based on just the targets this year, Amari Cooper definitely took the back burner to
I
Donovan
am
Peoples-Jones.
not- dude. Why, bro? Like, I sometimes like I get it. It's the AFC North. Like, there's 4 teams that decided that they just want to be like the best in the AFC. But like, why? Why can't we just throw them into a different division? Can
Bro,
the Ravens
I-
just please? I just want the
Hey.
Ravens to have a free playoff. Like
Facts. Bro, I'm an NFC West guy.
Yeah,
That
facts.
was brutal.
He
for
has to deal with
years.
that. Yeah.
Bro. It's just like, and it's the thing is, bro. The Steelers were 3-8.
They were.
Where did that
They
come
they
from?
finished the season 6-1
Bro,
since
where
Thanksgiving. They were
like,
3-8. They were
why
3 and
does this
8. Actually, no,
division
they were
do
3 and
this to me?
7 at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
3 and 7 at
Every
Thanksgiving.
single year, it's like, bro, I can't get a break. It's like
Facts.
the Steelers decide, yo, it's like you guys forget that we got 6 Super Bowl rings. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, we're still here. We still are really good at football.
bro, man, like I can't catch a break.
I will say though, I think it if you look at when Thanksgiving was around, TJ Watt came back right around that time. Kenny
Yeah,
Pickett
and the
got
defense
healthy
was
right around that time
totally
again.
different.
So
Oh,
you have your quarterback getting healthy. He started playing better around that time too. TJ Watt came back and turned that defense around. The moment he stepped back on the football field, that defense looked like a completely different team again. It's actually insane to look at. Like the
It's
stats from
pain
the
every
week
year for me,
before
man.
to the week that TJ Watt came back, that defense, just everyone is elevated like at their level of play.
Why Lamar gets
Yeah.
hurt, dude. People wonder why he's getting hit by Miles Garrett, T.J. Watt,
No,
8 times,
seriously.
8 times a year.
Yeah.
I'd get hurt too.
Yeah.
I'd have a broken leg.
It's a great division. It really is.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Ravens, this game against the Bengals, you have no quarterback play at all from the Ravens at all, like
I think
zero.
Anthony Brown threw one good.
I mean, he still ended up with 286 yards passing, but
I think he threw one good. He was 19 of 44. That's terrible.
yeah. No, he didn't look good at all. The Bengals came out and they did what they needed to do.
Thank you. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? We probably win this game if Lamar plays. Isn't that nuts?
We talked about it last week. I said it too. Is if Lamar's playing, you're winning these games. The defense literally is doing what they need to do.
Oh my god, this defense is so good right now.
You can't blame
Which
any of
is
these
wild.
losses. You literally
They
can't.
were horrible at first.
You can't.
And
You
they
cannot
completely turned
blame.
it around.
You cannot blame the defense on these losses at the end of the year. You can't.
Bro,
100%.
Doobie, you want to know a fun fact about the Ravens? For like the first 10 games this season, we'd be undefeated in the second quarter. If the games ended in the second quarter at halftime, the Ravens would be undefeated.
They would literally be undefeated. Yeah, it's actually insane. Looking at the amount of points that you guys given up in the second half compared to the first half,
my
they
God,
they
we
would
should've beat
literally
the
they would
Dolphins.
literally be 17-0.
We lost to Tyreek Hill in the fourth quarter.
Yep, literally just Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, bro. Oh my gosh. And Jalen Waddle had him in fantasy that week. He had he
Yeah.
got all the tutties.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle
Yeah.
scored. Tyreek Hill got all the yards.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle was he was the first half guy, and then Tyreek said,
Oh, is that how it was?
Tyreek
That's
Hill was
literally how that game went.
all season long. That's how it's really been. Jalen Waddle's like the first half, and then Tyreek Hill comes to life in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, every team that plays the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle starts cooking, and then they forget about Tyreek because
Yeah,
they're
because they're
getting cooked by
doubling
Waddle.
Tyreek early. Waddle cooks them, and they go, okay, we need to double Waddle now, and then Tyreek takes off. Literally.
Well, Tyreek just wasn't getting any touchdowns, though.
He
That
was
the
getting
thing,
all the
like, he was-
yards, and they were scoring
Yeah,
in the
all
red
the
zone.
catches, all the yards, and then Jalen Waddle would get every touchdown. That guy was leading the NFL in touchdowns through like 10 weeks
Oh,
or
yeah,
something like
he
that.
was. He really was. And that's without a quarterback for half the season, practically.
Oh, yeah.
That quarterback situation is rough.
Yeah, I love the Dolphins. I love them every single year. Every year. It's something.
Bro,
We're both in pain right now.
hold on. What do you think of Tua? Maybe we'll get to that when we talk about Miami, but
yeah.
my bad.
I mean, and you're coming up here soon. Vikings-Bears was the next game. The Vikings. Do you want to talk about this team? Because I don't like them. I really
Bro,
don't.
they don't got-
At
they don't
13-4, they had a negative point differential this year, which is
Yeah.
wild. I'm pretty sure it's an NFL record
Yeah, that's
for
never happened before.
for being 13-4 and being outscored on the season. That's
it's
just
the worst
not good.
13-4 team of all time.
This team is so underwhelming to me, in my opinion. Like, your
They're
quarterback
getting
is
rounded.
average at best. He's not a championship quarterback. I like Kirk Cousins. I personally do too. You said it yourself. But the defense is overrated. Overrated.
Oh, they're a bottom 5 defense in football. They're terrible.
Your corners are outmatched every single week. It's actually absurd. Your safety play is okay at best, and you don't really get much pressure on your defensive line.
No.
I mean, you have your best pass rusher. I'm pretty sure this year is Danielle Hunter on that team, and I don't even know how many sacks he had. I don't even think he had that many sacks, to be fair. He had 10.5 to total. So yeah, he's your best pass rusher. You don't have anyone else on that team with more than 10 sacks. Like that's a struggle to begin with. You have no pressure on your quarterback, so it's exposing your secondary. And they're getting cooked by everyone.
Yeah. They're not getting past the first round of the playoffs.
No, they're gonna get burned, in my opinion.
And that's totally fair. The thing is, though, like, offensively, they are so gifted.
They
like,
are.
They have so much going on that's why, like, I do. It's really tough because I really like Dable. I really like Dable.
I do too. He's my
with
coach
New
of the year.
York.
Oh,
100%. I agree. And I think it's like not. I don't even know if it's.
It's not close. It's not. It's not, in my
I
opinion.
agree. But the only other person I think that has any sort of argument
Nick Sirianni.
He's
He's got an argument there, bro. He does have
fair.
an argument there.
fair.
That was
But
a
real
rebound
quick,
year too.
The
True.
New York Giants is not a talented roster.
Oh, not by any chance.
No,
They're not. That's
really.
the only reason that they have Saquon. They have no other talent. Who's the wide receiver core? Darius Slayton? Like,
Slayton,
I can even.
you have here. I can pull up your
I will
roster.
say
Hold
Daniel Jones played great. Like he played really good this year.
on. He did.
I think that is strictly because of Brian Dable.
I agree with that. That he got the talent out of that team for sure.
Like Daniel Jones, should have been like cut 2 years ago. Like this guy has no business even still being here, and he comes out and has an awesome year.
He had a breakout
Don't get me
season.
wrong, he's played very
Yeah, he
well.
did.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a little bit of a trap though, because now you don't upgrade the quarterback position, and
Yeah.
now you're
I don't think
relying
they have
too
a
much
good
on.
draft pick though.
Yeah, no, they're in purgatory, no doubt. The
They're
fact
in a-
they made the
they're in a rough
playoffs is
spot.
awesome.
They
Yeah.
they had your best receivers this year: Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, and Darius Slayton. Who? Who?
Oh.
Those are your
I'm
top three
saying.
receivers. I mean, you have Kenny Galladay there, and Kenny Galladay does absolutely nothing all season long.
Kenny
He was benched.
Galladay?
He was benched for how long?
Bro, that poor guy, bro. As soon as he got there, he sucked. He was so good in Detroit.
He was. He really
Bro.
was.
He was a dog.
He was a stud.
Bro.
He really was.
He was.
He just faded away in that offense, and even this year, like guys that are little no names. Slayton was a top, like a higher draft pick, I'm pretty sure. So Slayton's name is around. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
like a top, like a Justin
He's
Jefferson or
old,
anything like that.
though.
Slayton's been in
Yeah.
the league a few years.
Is
He's
it only a few? I thought he was getting
26. 26.
He's 26. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm counting.
2019.
Jeez.
He was a fifth round pick. I lied. So he wasn't actually a high pick, but like his name was known at least. Like people know who Darius Slayton is. Do you know who Isaiah? Like if I came up to you, do you know who Isaiah Hodgins is? Do you know who Richie
No.
James is? Like
No.
those
No.
guys are your leading receivers this year. So Daniel Jones may do with what he had, and he actually performed well. But I think it's the coach getting the talent out of the player in this situation. I think
Dude.
Dable has actually done a phenomenal job getting the talent out of who his players are on this football field. Like
Preach.
this team does not have star-studded players. They have
You don't.
you have Daniel Jones, who's been mediocre at best in the NFL his entire career. Had a breakout season, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is a breakout
Absolutely.
season for Daniel Jones.
100%.
I don't think he's going to duplicate this. I think this is a one and done kind of thing, in my opinion. I think he regresses, in my opinion. At least because people are going to figure him out. If it's
Yeah,
not this year, they're going to figure
100%.
him out next year. They're going to see all the film from this year, and they're going to shut him down.
I think.
Yeah.
My opinion on Daniel Jones, I think he has potential to be a more athletic Joe Flacco.
You know what I see?
Yeah,
You know,
and that's
do you know what I
still
see
a
in?
decently low ceiling.
Do you know what I see in Daniel Jones? I see Sam Darnold. That's what I see.
No, look. I feel like my take is actually pretty.
I mean, that's a solid
Br-
take. I'll agree
Like
with that.
listen, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, so like
Different era though. Like
it is
True.
a different era. But like I said, he's a more athletic Joe Flacco.
He can
Joe
run.
Flacco had the arm. Joe
Yeah,
Flacco did have the arm.
Flacco had the arm. Yeah.
Daniel Jones can throw the ball.
Daniel Jones can also run the football.
He can also run. He's a more
Yeah.
athletic Joe Flacco. So I think he does kind of fit into this era. I don't think he's going to be like – I think he'll be a top 15 quarterback in this league. I think he is a guy that if he keeps learning the game and continues to get better, I think he's a guy that can win you football games in like close situations. Plus this defense, currently their defense, honestly, is pretty nuts. It overperformed this year.
It's
Like,
another
for
one of those
sure.
things.
Like Kayvon Thibodeau is him.
Oh yeah, definitely. That
Yeah.
dude's a stud.
He is him. Okay.
Yeah.
This
Dexter
team-
Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence had a huge
I
season
think
for that
they
team.
are in a good
Mhm.
spot. Honestly, I honestly I don't see Daniel
Defensively-
Jones getting worse.
Defensively,
see it.
they're in a great spot. I will say that.
Daniel
I think
Jones
they
has
can
gotten
only get
this
better.
entire
I think they
season,
can get better in
so
defense. If anything, I think they'll get better at defense.
We'll see. We'll
The
see.
offense may or may not regress. I don't know. They have to re-sign Saquon. Saquon's a free agent. Daniel Jones is a free agent. They're
Yeah,
both free
he's a big
agents.
Part of that offense. He's a free agent. Yeah.
I just going back to kind of what like you said, Cobra, about I don't know that Daniel Jones is ever going to be better than he is this year.
I don't
Like,
think you can get any better than
I
what Daniel
think
Jones
that-
did this year.
I think his ceiling is this year, personally.
Probably.
And so, and even to Dallas, your point, like maybe top 15's his maybe top 15, but I think that's his ceiling. If
Middle of
that's
the
the
road.
best that you're gonna be, like I just don't think that like in this era you can win a championship. And
No.
so now you're in a situation where we all are like, dude, they had an awesome season. They scraped into the playoffs.
Barely.
Like
Yeah.
they barely made in. Is that really like for a New York team? You're talking about New York City, the Big
Yeah.
Apple. Is that good enough? I just don't
Mhm.
think it is. And now you're going to find yourself getting into a situation where, I mean, you put Daniel Jones up against Kyler Murray, who's like the top 10 area. It's a substantial gap. You
It's
know what
true.
I'm saying?
It is. It's very true.
And so, and I don't know that Kyler Murray's ever going to win a championship.
I don't think
I
he
don't
is
know
either.
that.
I'm not gonna lie,
Exactly.
I like Daniel Jones more than I like Kyler Murray.
Mhm.
I do. I honestly do.
I know
He's
you. I know you.
bigger.
He's low
bigger.
on. He's low on Kyler. He is, and I will admit, I was iffy on Kyler Murray coming into this season.
He looked
With his
terrible.
passion for football, he did not look great. And then he got hurt. That injury,
Well,
especially, he did not
dude,
look.
but like he came in, he had that like 3-touchdown fourth quarter. Like, I mean, the guy is just so talented.
He has
and,
the
like,
talent. That's the problem.
And nobody thinks that Cliff Kingsbury is a good coach. Yet they started the season last year 10-2. Like,
hey, rumors have it he might be the Ravens OC next year. Rumors have it.
OC, sure.
Yeah,
Rumors have it that man might be our OC next year, and the Ravens will be crazy.
I think it's another one of those. Is the coach getting the talent that he should be getting out of his players? I think you're touching on that, and I think that's where you're going with it. I think that Kyler is underperforming because of the coach that he has.
Or he's
I think you could.
whichever one.
I think if he gets back into the focus of football and figures his talent out, because that man is talented. He's got legs. He has an arm. He can for as small as he is, he can throw the football.
Oh, he can sling. He's a baseball guy.
Yeah,
bro.
he can launch that football.
1 year ago, he was MVP conversation for 14 weeks.
He was, yeah. The only problem is who's he gonna throw the football to next year when he comes back? Because D-Hop's gone. You have Rondale Moore. You have I think Robbie Anderson's a free agent now. Marquise Brown is there. He's locked up. So you have Marquise Brown. You have Rondale Moore. But outside that, what do you have? So
I mean, that's all he had in the beginning of the year when he had that big comeback as well.
Yeah, because D-Hop was out. It's true. D-Hop was out. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see who they have at coach next year, who they bring in. If that coach is a good coach and can get the talent out of Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray comes back healthy, he's not. I don't think he's going to be ready for the regular season to start because he had surgery late. He waited a while to get surgery. So
I'm gonna have to give one more passing gesture to think about for people with Daniel Jones. This is his numbers on the season. And remember, we said it before, literally the first thing we said about the Giants. Who is he throwing the football to?
It's true.
Absolutely nobody.
Nope.
This man completed 67% of his passes. That's good in the NFL.
Yep.
That's really very good in the NFL.
Yeah,
3,200 yards, almost 7 yards average completion, 15 touchdowns and 5 picks. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. That's successful in the NFL. He had nobody to throw to. Nobody.
Totally fair.
And he ran for 708 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I mean, those are numbers on a quarterback that doesn't really have. He has Saquon Barkley to back him up. That's it.
Totally.
That's it offensively. Those are numbers that if he gets a team built around him,
you give him talent. I mean, he
what
could.
Are we really saying?
He could
does improve.
Yeah, he could show up. It's true.
Imagine D-Hop goes there next year.
He's not. D-Hop's going to a team that has talent. That's
all I'm saying is, he gets a top tier receiver. He gets some people that are gonna make big plays for him. I honestly, I think he's a solid quarterback. I wouldn't go away from him. I would build around him. That's just me.
I mean, they've proven this year that they have a winning formula with that coach. Now it's a matter of putting talent there and getting that talent to improve on what you've already built.
That's my parting thoughts on Daniel Jones.
Bro, I'm just saying, bro, Brian Dable might already be top 5. Like, he might already be top 5 in this league, bro.
I can agree with it.
Team around.
I can agree with it.
A 90-degree flip, bro.
Yep.
Dude, Brian Dable top 5. Hey, that's a good argument, Dallas. I'm not gonna cap. That was a good argument.
Yeah, that was definitely valid. Yeah, 100%.
That was good.
He had nobody to throw to. He did great with the offense he has. So.
Definitely
I was
valid.
hoping you weren't gonna bring that up. I was thinking about that when we were talking about Kyler Murray. I was like, dude,
listen,
Daniel Jones.
I got an argument, man.
He's throwing it. Some guy that they picked up down the street at the grocery store, like.
Yeah, literally.
Bro.
The grocery store is crazy.
That guy was packing carts, bro. No lie. And then they just like,
he's
oh,
like,
go.
yo, you wanna catch footballs for a living? Sure,
Yo,
man.
come run this skinny post one time, huh? Like.
I'm gonna touch on one more thing with this Vikings Bears game. This Bears team, obviously they're entering a very deep rebuild. Justin Fields, you think he's the answer for that team?
Yes.
Franchise quarterback?
Yes. It's not even a doubt in my mind.
Stewie,
It's not
what's your
even
thoughts?
a doubt in my mind.
We will see.
Okay.
That's one I don't think it's there because like I don't need a quarterback who can break a rushing record. That's not what I need. Lamar Jackson wasn't the guy until he proved that, like, one, he was going to win games. Like, that matters. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, he found a way to win games,
Yeah.
and he developed so much as a pocket passer. I was actually a big Justin Fields fan when he got drafted.
See,
I thought that was just an awesome pick by the Bears. Like, I couldn't believe he even fell that far.
yeah.
But I thought he was the second best quarterback coming out. I mean, obviously, Trevor Lawrence was number 1, and then I thought he should have 100% gone number 2. But I don't like until he proves that he can be a pocket passer as well. You can't win enough in this league to, because at the end of the day, bro, like playoffs don't matter, especially when you're talking about the Bears. Like that's a legit franchise.
Oh yeah.
Playoffs is not enough.
No.
And so, can he make the playoffs? No doubt. There's no doubt about
Oh
that.
yeah, he's got the talent to get there.
And he can do it with the way he plays.
Mm-hmm,
But
definitely.
he has to develop as a pocket passer for me to be like, that's a franchise guy. And most guys, I think that you can see it quick. And so with him, you can see flashes of greatness, which is encouraging. But now we have a year and a half, about 2 years to go off of, a little over a year and a half. And I'm not saying he has a star-studded roster. Don't get me wrong. Darnell Mooney's his best target, and that's not a great number 1. I like Darnell Mooney, but that's not number 1. He's a fine number 2. And your number 1's got to be bigger. I guess he's got Chase Claypool now, but I don't care about your rushing record. I care about your ability to be on 3rd and 8 and throw for a first down.
Yeah. I made that argument with Lamar Jackson. I was like, going from last year to this year, like he developed so much better last year as a pocket passer. He figured out how to throw the football, and I've always preached that. Lamar Jackson is always going to be an athlete. He's always going to be able to run the football, no matter
100%.
what. It got them wins because he could extend the plays and extend runs and stuff like that, and get the yardage to get the first downs and get touchdowns on the ground. But teams beat them when he couldn't throw the football. He figured
100%.
that out. They started winning more. And I told Dallas this from the beginning. It's like I needed to see it earlier on this year. Like I needed more from Lamar passing the football. You got to pass the ball more because he actually reverted back. I feel like to running the football a little more. I think he slowed down the passing game.
Yeah.
I think that also has something to do with Greg Roman calling plays this year because they really went heavy on the running this year. Yeah, I will say that.
They bailed on Marquise Brown too. He had no one outside of Mark Andrews to throw.
He had no receivers exactly. So I think it's very similar situations. Is like you need to have a quarterback that has to develop as a passer.
And you can't come back if you can't sit in the pocket and throw.
Exactly.
Like you can't erase leads, which you have to be able to do. And so that's what I worry about that with Justin Fields. But do I think that he can be? Absolutely. Talent's there. You'll see from time to time he'll make a throw that's like, wow. I remember watching Monday Night Football one night. He against the Broncos, I think. He had like this pick in the end zone at the end of the game that was just so bad. And it was like, that moment was like, dude, I mean, at some point, you have to be able to make that throw. I know that you're still like he was about a year into the league at the time. But those are throws that are routine, and you have to be able to make. If it's just your legs, you're not a franchise guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Everything you just said. But here we go. Kind of same situation. Same situation Daniel Jones has, except Justin Fields has probably one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. Easily. Horrible O-line.
It's up there.
Terrible. He has, I think, 1.5 seconds to make a decision with the ball. Or it's run. That is literally every single game, and he's played some of the best defense in the league. So sometimes it's 0.9 seconds to get rid of the ball, or run, or the play's going backwards.
It's definitely up there.
Second,
for sure.
Nobody to throw to. Cole Kmet's the only guy, and he doesn't have a running back that can take over the game if the receiving and the passing game is struggling, like the Giants do. The Giants have Saquon; he can take a game over.
100%.
So. His situation is completely bad. Like there's nothing there, and he showed you great flashes of, hey, I'm gonna extend this play. I'm gonna run 70 yards and score a touchdown because the rest of my team can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Look, if he can extend a play with a team that can't protect him, or and receivers that can't get open, and a running back that can't move the ball, You give that man a team, and I honestly think he's 4,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns a year. That's my true, honest opinion.
55
I
sacks.
think he throws 3,000. I think he throws 3,000 yards easy, 3,000 yards easy, and 1,000 rushing yards, 750 plus a season easy. He's an easy 4,000 scrimmage yards is a successful NFL season for a quarterback.
That's fair.
I don't care how you do it.
You got to give him some targets, that's for sure. I mean, they're going into a deep rebuild. This team is going to.
I think he's a great quarterback.
They're not gonna be a top team next year. They're not. I think it comes down to who they get him in the receiving game this coming year to see what Justin Fields develops into. Because if they don't get him more receivers and they don't get him offensive line help,
trade rumors. He had trade rumors as soon as the week ended.
I don't think they're gonna move him. I really don't.
He had no. I don't think they are. But there was rumors that they might say, "See ya."
I think they're going to trade.
That's because
they're
trying to build the value of the number one pick.
Yeah,
so they're like, maybe what they're trying to get out is, hey, we might move off of, Justin Fields with all the talent because we want this number one pick so bad because, what Bryce Young is so good. Right, yeah. And that could be like.
Well, they have the number. Wait, no, they don't.
The Bears just they do. Number one.
Yeah, they have the number one pick now.
I think they're going to trade out. They're going to trade out that pick.
Yeah, they're going to trade to Indianapolis. Watch.
Probably.
Indianapolis has draft capital.
Probably
has like a lot. They're going to trade up. They'll take number one pick, and
Indianapolis
is the worst win now team you'll ever see, bro. Like they have a lot of talent on the roster. You don't see teams lose this much with that much talent on the roster very often.
Coaching problem.
Taylor was how about disappointing this year?
Coaching problem. Coaching problem,
bro. Yeah. I'm not saying nothing about. That's the thing. We've seen more coaching issues this year than I think in a long time.
That's a big one, though.
I think like play calling issues and coaching issues have been apparent, like a lot this year. Like I don't think players even have the opportunity to shine in some of the schemes that they play in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one, though, for sure. In Indianapolis, they got
rid of Frank Reich. They got rid of Frank
Saturday,
Reich.
Man.
Saturday wasn't the answer. He wasn't.
I love Jeff Saturday. He was a great player. I know why they did it, but I honestly think Frank Reich wasn't terrible.
I don't think he was he wasn't the answer, but he wasn't the problem either, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like I mean, they need help. That roster needs help. They never had a quarterback this year. They never had a quarterback this year. They did. The quarterback didn't exist.
Outside of quarterback, is it that bad?
Really, no. The offensive line was solid. The offensive line was solid.
The offensive line's been good for years.
The offensive line has been solid.
Defensively, they've been solid.
The defense was actually really good, in my opinion. I mean, they had some bad games, yes, but they have some solid players on that defense.
I actually, honestly, I think their issue is quarterback and receiver depth.
Depth, I could see that. Quarterback, the quarterback's their biggest glaring issue, like straight up.
They have only one. They have one true receiver. One true receiver.
And then whether it's schematically or not, one thing about the running back position, when you have a solid offensive line, you can succeed. I tell you what, Jonathan Taylor absolutely stepped backwards.
Oh, definitely.
He didn't get fed enough. He wasn't getting the ball.
He got 30-some carries the first couple weeks.
Yeah, the first.
And he just
he didn't get
wasn't as and then he got hurt, but he just wasn't as productive.
No, he faded away. They definitely underutilized him, and I think he regressed, in my opinion. Yes, he was dealing with ankle injuries and stuff like that all season long.
Yeah,
but everyone deals with those, so you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Your offensive line is giving you time to run the football. They're giving you the lanes. They're opening things up. That offensive line is one of the better offensive lines. I'm not going to say it's the best. Yeah. You have Quentin Nelson, yes, but all the other guys on that line are very solid as well. Even the rookies on that, because I'm pretty sure they started two rookies on that offensive line this year, and they were pretty solid for being rookies on that offensive line. That team underperformed, in my opinion. They definitely underperformed.
Yeah, 100%. Jonathan, I think his injury is what really derailed him, but his last few games are consistent.
Definitely.
Like, they're all consistent.
I got you.
Like 16 carries, 76 yards, 22 carries, 147 yards at a touchdown, 22 carries, 80 yards.
Day.
22 carries, 84 yards and a touchdown, 20 carries, 86 yards and a touchdown, 21 carries and 82 yards. I mean, he was finding his way again.
See, the thing is you once he goes down with an injury, the other guy stepped up. That's the thing. You have running backs. You just replaced Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss dropped 100 rushing yards against the Texans their last week of the season. You go back a few weeks. Deion Jackson had some big games running the football after Jonathan Taylor went down, before Deion Jackson got hurt. So, I mean, like, you just take out Jonathan Taylor from that equation. You have other guys stepping in, and they're still running the football very well. So it's not. I
That
don't think
means
it's
the offensive line.
Exactly.
was good.
Exactly. You have backup
Preach.
running backs coming in, and they're still doing. I mean, they're not Jonathan Taylor numbers. Don't get me wrong, but you have 100 rushing yards on 18 carries and a touchdown each week or whatever. You know.
Honestly, I'm not. I can't, like, looking at the amount of games he missed, for him having 861 rushing yards. He didn't have a lot of touchdowns this year, which is where the dip is really, like, prevalent. But I mean, for only 11 games played and 861 yards, I mean, it's not Jonathan Taylor, but it's still a successful
It's
running back.
solid, and I think that's an attest
I
to
mean-
the offensive line.
And we gotta remember exactly Jonathan Taylor's story. I think that he was just overhyped coming into the year. Like, I think that could be
From
part of it as
last
well
year's
because-
stats, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was undrafted in fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
Like, last year, he wasn't like a super hot top, or was it 2 years ago? I don't remember. It was either 2 years ago or last year.
Just
But,
2
like,
years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. He was going through undrafted, and then late 2 years ago, he turns up at the end of the year and
Yep.
obviously had a really good year last year.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. I think that there's a little bit of like, he was a unanimous number one in fantasy football.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't take it. I had number one in multiple leagues. I didn't take him in a single. I took him as number two in one league, but I went CMC.
I skipped over him. I went CMC too.
Attaboy.
Yeah. I mean,
Everyone hated me for that. And I was like,
it's a high risk, high reward for him. And
It
paid
was,
off.
bro.
It paid off.
Damn,
Dude,
he
you know
is
where I really
guaranteed
screwed up?
fantasy points.
Yeah,
if
I
he
mean,
plays
where
every
He
game.
is. Yep.
You want to hear where I really screwed up, bro? Is I traded CMC and I traded Eckler and CH for CMC, and that in hindsight sucks.
Yeah, that's rough. That's definitely rough for sure.
yeah.
Patriots Bills was a good game. That Bills team came out and said we're gonna just put up
Football
points.
Inspired.
That team had so much. They had a horrible week coming up to this game. To prepare for it, I don't know how you prepare for a game like this after what they went through in Cincinnati the week before. But they came out, played inspired football. They cooked the Patriots. They didn't let up until like the last quarter. Like they were what was it, like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were still throwing bombs to the end zone. And then I think that they realized after, it was like, okay, we can chill now. It's over.
Yeah. Josh Allen owns Bill Belichick.
He does. He does.
If we're keeping this.
He really does.
Bro,
This is my AFC team, in my opinion. This Bills team.
you think so?
I
huh?
think so. I after everything they've been through this year, I think going forward, DeMar Hamlin's back
Bro.
in that locker room.
That is the only reason I think it could be, is because of like what happened that
football
night.
will lead
Yep.
a team to be greater than they are.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all about it in life, man. If you want to overcome anything, what's your why? Like, if you don't have a why, then you can have all the talent in the world.
Oh, they're playing for Hamlin
Once
now.
you have a why, absolutely, man. Once you have a why, everything changes. I'm gonna ignore that aspect, because I have my take from before that.
Oh yeah, I know
And-
your take.
Dude, I think that first of all, I think it's gonna be really, really difficult to beat Kansas City for a fourth time. With that being said, I think that it sucks with the injuries that have recently happened. I will say, if I had to put my money on it now, I would probably say Kansas City does end up getting out. The Bills, they can't run the football. That's the only issue.
That's
They have
the
a
problem.
why,
Yeah.
which makes it so they absolutely could do it, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think that it was Cincinnati, but they've lost 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And in that, now I think it's probably going to be. I don't think you can beat Kansas City a 4th time in a row, missing your left tackle. And I don't remember who their other offensive linemen they're missing. I think it might be their left guard.
Isn't
So-
that Volson?
Yeah, Volson went
that's
down.
Their
Volson's the left
that's
guard.
their
And he's on
entire
Liberty.
backside. Bro.
Yeah, the
Like,
left side of
now.
Joe Burrow's blind side. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yep.
so I think the Kansas City probably ends up getting out. But dude, holy, like that team if they stayed healthy, talk about
Oh,
a
wait, so you're
freaking
telling me my
turnaround.
D line's gonna eat this week?
They might.
Oh,
They might.
boy.
They might.
Wait, you're throwing me some candy. Wait a minute. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. We
Listen,
could wait.
he is a
We can
very
hold them.
biased Ravens fan.
Wait. We can
Yeah,
hold them to
yeah.
7 points like we done other teams, and just
Well,
and just-
win
Good
7 to
luck, hold
3.
Joe Burrow.
and
to
just have
7
Justin Tucker
points.
kick 3 field goals and win the game. Oh, come on. Ain't no way. Hold on. Don't give me some hope now. Don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. Don't do that to me.
I will
Bro,
say this team is now playing for DeMar Hamlin, and now that he's going to be at this coming game against the Dolphins. Dolphins have no quarterback, so this is a free win for the Bills, in my opinion. And not saying it as a Dolphins fan. The Bills have a free game this weekend.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
no Tua Tagovailoa in this game.
They are more evenly matched with Tua on the field. Without a quarterback, this team has no offense. So it's a free
Tua,
week for the
just
Bills.
Sadly, apparently he's concussion prone and his career's not going to last very long. So
Yeah, that's the sad part for them.
I really like Tua. I've been defending Tua all year long, and he's been doo-dooing on his quarterback all year long.
As Tua was pushing like MVP, like he was in the question. He was in that conversation at least for a few weeks there towards the beginning of the year. I didn't even have him top 10 in my quarterback list, and he was defending Tua like he was a top 3 quarterback. So
No, I didn't say top 3.
Top 5.
I never said
Top 5. Top 5.
I said he was playing top 5.
top 5.
Here's
Sorry.
the thing. Tua, I like Tua. I'm happy for him. He's a good guy for a team because he's great in the locker room. He's a great leader, great at the podium. But he's a game manager. Like,
Yeah.
that's what he is. And he has probably the most talented wide receiver core in the league right now.
Yeah, you don't really have to do much. Just get it in their hands and let them
And-
work.
You could argue there's times where, I mean, the guy has missed so much, yet they're so athletic that they'll come, adjust,
Oh, yeah.
make catches, and that'll actually help them turn into more yards
It's true.
because of the fact that they changed their route so much. But, I mean, Tua, like, I like Tua. I do. And, like, I want him to be successful. The thing is, he's a game manager. And game managers, unless you are the exact situation of the 49ers, doesn't work.
Yeah.
And
I-
so...
If you looked at the first 3 weeks before he went down, he
Mhm.
was making throws that I've
Oh.
never seen Tua Tagovailoa make. Like
Yeah,
he was
no,
he was
for sure.
throwing dimes. His
Yeah.
his arm strength looked good. He wasn't underthrowing receivers the first 3 weeks. That first concussion, he didn't look the same. Ever since that first
Yeah.
concussion, he was playing scared. His passes were off. He was underthrowing. He was overthrowing. He was just
Yeah,
not. He
very
did not
rushed.
look accurate. He was rushing passes. He just didn't look comfortable at all. Then he goes down again, and it just doesn't look good for him. Outside after that, literally after that first concussion, it looked like a completely different quarterback. He was scared in the pocket. He didn't look comfortable running that offense. Even.
Yeah.
He didn't look comfortable on the field, and that's the scary part. Is like he
Mhm.
had talent. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think he was top, like as Dallas was saying, top 5 at that time. I think he was pushing for it. I think the receivers that he had were elevating his play, yes.
Yeah.
But after that first concussion, he was not the same. And he regressed drastically, even towards like before he got hurt, the last concussion he had. He was regressing. I did not like what I was seeing from him. I didn't. And it got to the point where he got hurt again, and that sucks. But
Let me pull up these numbers.
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
he was so good those first 3 weeks, like before he got
Okay.
hurt.
Oh, he
So
was
I
good
w-
when he
well-
came back too. He was good when he came back. It was
While
only,
Dallas pulls these numbers up, I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
My favorite quarterback of all time is Drew Brees.
Okay.
Like, I love Drew Brees through and through.
Yep.
Drew Brees, with some very talented rosters, has won championship in a different era where quarterbacks, there was less great ones.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very true.
And so, and don't get me, his numbers are incredible.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think that he should have arguments for being one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I put him on what's the freaking Mount Rushmore? I put him on Mount Rushmore because he's the best regular season quarterback ever.
Oh yeah.
Who
Drew Brees, yeah.
Drew Brees.
or over Peyton Manning?
On the Rushmore,
There's
he's not.
arguments there,
He's
but-
got a Mount Rushmore, so like a top 5.
My bad.
A Rushmore's
Sorry.
5.
or
so
top, yeah, or a top
or
4. I think.
4,
Well, I mean, I
whatever it
think
is,
there's an
yeah.
argument like you got like Peyton Manning and you got him. Those are like the two guys for regular season. And you're gonna Patrick Mahomes gets in that conversation.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is probably around there, but those two guys, like They have so many like Drew Brees has the most passing yards of all time. He has the most 5,000-yard seasons. Like he's incredible, but he won one championship with all those crazy talented
His
rosters.
rosters, some of his rosters that he had weren't championship teams. They weren't.
I agree.
They weren't built to be championship teams, and he was still putting them 5,000 yards passing.
I
But
agree.
he had to.
And
He had to put them even in a chance to make playoffs and stuff like that. He had to do that. So
100%. And I would say that's like a comp for Tua, although Tua won't have the numbers Drew Brees does in his career. I don't believe so.
Never.
But that still was only for one championship.
Yeah. It's a tough situation for the Dolphins. It really is. Like I genuinely think had he not gotten that first concussion, I think the Dolphins would be in a much better spot than they are currently. They would.
Yeah. No, they would have won.
They would.
A couple more games, no doubt. They probably
yeah.
would have gotten to like 11, 12 wins, and then
they would have probably they could have honestly won the AFC East if he hadn't gotten hurt. In my opinion, I genuinely think that because the Bills figured it out, yes, but the Dolphins were steamrolling team. They really were.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's hear the stats.
Go ahead.
Listen, for the 9 straight games, Tua Tagovailoa played really good. Like the 9 straight games, like the 9 games that he got to play. Like he played the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was before the first concussion.
That was before the first concussion. The first week it was an okay game. He didn't do anything spectacular, but they played good enough to win. 270 yards and a touchdown. Then against Baltimore, he's I'm gonna throw 6 touchdowns and almost 500 yards.
Yep.
Because Marcus Peters decided that he wants to suck this year. But anyways,
bro, what a fun game though.
So in his first 2 games, seven touchdowns, 2 picks. He threw 2 picks to us as well. So
yes,
I'll take that. But anyways, and then he came back after that game. He had a. I'm pretty sure this is the game.
This is the Bills game where he got his first concussion.
This is the Bills game. He came out. He was doing well. He was doing well. 72% completion, 186 yards, a touchdown. And he got the win. Who came
the Dolphins won
the rest of the game? Yeah, the Dolphins.
Teddy Bridgewater came in.
Wasn't this a good game for like Raheem Mostert?
Mostert had a big game against the Bills. Yeah. Both games
and
he played against the Bills.
And
he
then
had big games.
And then against Cincinnati, he had that hit where like
he got a concussion in that Bills game, but they didn't declare it a concussion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Cincinnati, he went down.
He got a second concussion, and it was even worse.
And then he was tripping out on the field.
He had a seizure midfield.
So I don't count that game. Okay. Then he comes back. Okay. He threw a pick.
Who was that against?
So
Cincinnati.
The Bills
what
game.
is going on with the Bengals? Bro?
Yeah,
they're killing people apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know
what the?
bro.
They got brass knucks in their helmets. Like what's going?
I don't know, bro. They're hitting people and putting them in the hospital.
No, but he had a concussion that ended up not being a concussion, according to a lot of people. He came back into the game.
They call it a bell ring, right?
So he went down right before halftime, hit his head.
Yeah, no,
I remember. They went in, checked him, declared him he was fine, came back into the game in the second half, played the rest of the game.
They did that against.
Went to Cincinnati, got the second concussion, or
got
hit hard enough to he still had he was playing through a concussion.
Yeah. Yep. No, 100%. Yeah, bell rings are concussions. They're just not like they're not respected as such. So like the definition of a concussion is when your brain like bounces off of your skull.
Yeah.
And so that's why like in theory you can have it when you just turn your head too fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like that whiplash. But so like one thing that's actually really interesting, I had a few concussions in high school. And so like say if 2 people are about to hit heads like this, the person that stays on the same path will not get a concussion no matter how hard his head hits, but the person whose head changes direction will. And so they talk about in football, you're going to have like a whole bunch of bell rings. A bell ring is where your brain hits your skull, it just doesn't bruise. And so like those happen all the time and they get ignored. Yeah. And so I think that's probably what ended up happening with Tua. And then obviously he gets another hit and then boom, now it's like, okay, it just multiplied.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's that gray area of that concussion protocol.
So, like, after that concussion, obviously that first concussion, he came back, and this man was lights out.
He was.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, 60% completion, 261 yards, a touchdown, and then it's I'm like, he was the best quarterback in football for these 3 weeks. I'll honestly say that these 3 weeks against Detroit, 80% of his passes he completed, 382 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Okay, and then Chicago, 70%, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Against Cleveland, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. This dude was playing crazy good. That's why I had him. That for me, it was his play after coming back from concussion. That's why, like, my quarterback standings have switched every single week. Up into this point in the NFL, I honestly felt like he was playing at a top 5 level.
He was. He really was. It definitely. He definitely regressed for sure.
Well, I can get playing at a top 5 level versus being a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
what I was saying.
that's okay. So I thought you were saying he was a top 5 quarterback.
No,
I'm like,
no, not a top 5 quarterback. He was playing at a top 5 level.
Yeah.
Okay, that's totally fair. Yeah, there was times. Yeah, no,
Definitely.
that's totally valid. You could argue he's playing at the best level, just like you said. He was best quarterback over 3 weeks.
He was.
Well,
And
those
that's
3 straight weeks, he was the best quarterback in football.
yeah, which is
No
totally
mistakes, 10 touchdowns in 4 games. I mean, no picks.
fair. Yeah.
He had the highest quarterback rating, highest completion percentage, highest. I'm pretty sure it was like 9 stat lines. So
I can get behind that. I just like that's where a game manager is probably never going to at absolute best could crack a top 10 if something weird's going on in the league, but a game manager is probably never cracking top 10 as a quarterback in my opinion.
Tough spot for the Dolphins. Tough spot.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that Tua had to go through what he
Y'all
did.
can pay Lamar.
I don't know what the Dolphins are gonna do. I really don't.
Doobie, that's actually a chance. I hope you realize that could actually be a thing.
He's on the Dolphins are on his list of teams he would play for.
Because
He's from
grew up in Miami.
Yeah.
Yes, he's from Miami. He wants to play in Miami. He's already said this. He said if there's a team, he's leaving the Ravens. He said he doesn't want to leave Baltimore. He loves the franchise the Ravens have. He said he loves the atmosphere. He loves everything about the Baltimore and the Ravens. He loves everything. Okay? But if he does leave, the Dolphins are his number 1 destination. So if they pay that
It's
man,
home.
that would be that offense would torch.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up. That's why I haven't done it all year long.
Yeah.
I could easily be that guy to be a Dolphins fan and say, hell, this team would be so
Here's the
stupid.
problem. If Miami pays him that, what's it, $250 guaranteed?
$250 guaranteed.
If you pay him $250 guaranteed and you have Tyreek Hill on what's Tyreek Hill's deal? Like $130?
Yeah, something like that.
Bro.
But it don't matter. Jalen Waddle's still on a rookie contract
Waddle's on his rookie
for
2 more years.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, bro, like you're
Bro,
paying
that
no
could
one
be
else.
that could be an offense to win a
The crazy part is
You're right.
The
Your
craziest
offensive
thing
line
is
will get hit.
the craziest thing about this is the Dolphins have the money, and it's absurd because no one thinks it. They're not really paying anyone else on that team. It's a lot of young rookie contracts on that team.
A lot of young players, bro.
Okay, well, you better win a chip in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean
or
that's
else it's
the
over.
thing. Is like they're pretty much
Yeah.
in a win now with what they have. Yeah,
We gotta go crazy.
that's literally what they have. We don't have any picks.
You
for the
gotta go.
next
You
couple
gotta go.
years.
Do they have luxury tax in the NFL? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
so you can get out of the salary cap.
Yeah.
You just can't
Yeah.
pay the luxury tax. Okay, I
Exactly.
wasn't sure if they had it. I mean, you got to get into
We paid it
luxury
this year.
tax area. You got to pay you have to get championship if you do that.
We paid the
because
luxury
you are
tax this year.
mortgaging.
The
They
Dolphins,
did?
yeah, the Dolphins did. Yeah, they barely went over the luxury,
I gotcha.
but they're in that mode right now. Is like they're win now or don't win.
There's
at
a
all.
lot of defensive guys.
Like I
in free
genuinely think
agency, bro.
the free agency they did this past year, everything they did this past season was to put this team in a position to make it to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And the injuries obviously derailed that. They had a lot of it this year.
Yeah, Teron Armstead going down was huge for you guys.
We literally had the last week of the season, we started 4 practice squad offensive linemen. And that wasn't because we were just mixing things up.
Wonder why
We
Tua was getting hurt so
literally
much.
got down to only having practice squad players to run our offensive line.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why Tua has 3 concussions in a season.
Yeah, it was not
got
pretty
nobody.
this year. Injuries derailed the Dolphins season.
That man was playing lights out football, bro. He was throwing
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was about to have an MVP year, bro.
He was in the conversation
He
for a few
played
weeks.
5 straight weeks where he was just like, "Yo, I'm the next Mahomes." I was like, "Tua," and I was defending him every
was.
week. Kerber's like, "This isn't it. This is a fluke," and it really wasn't. He got hurt again for it to be a fluke.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can't even say that it ended it as a fluke. Like he could have. Like we just won't know. He could have had an MVP season had he played at that level all year long and the injuries didn't pile up and he didn't get hurt. Like I mean, he could have. What it could have, should have, would have for the Dolphins this year.
25 touchdowns and 8 picks, and like his numbers are actually crazy for what he went through this year.
He's one of the better, one of the more accurate quarterbacks that we've seen in many years.
Yeah.
He is.
At least accurate, especially inside of 25 yards.
Honestly, I think his touchdown pick ratio, if the Dolphins somehow find a way to do their jobs with their concussion protocol, if he doesn't play that second half,
he shouldn't have played the second half of the Bills game. Shouldn't have played the Bengals game.
If he hadn't have played that second half of the Bills game, his touchdown to pick ratio would be 5-1. That's Aaron Rodgers level.
Yeah.
But that injuries derailed that team for this year. It's just unfortunate. I just want to touch quickly on the Jets because that was the game we were on, is the Dolphins-Jets game. That Jets team, the offense underperformed for sure this year for them. The quarterback play for them was a struggle. They couldn't figure it out starting between Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and Mike White.
They should have just went with Big Money Joe. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
I mean, he got it done for them early on.
Listen, Doobie.
He played that last game.
He did. He started the last game.
Yeah, but I mean, after
he cut up those Dolphins.
He did.
after what, getting bounced around, like having a question mark every week.
Totally fair. But with a vet quarterback with not a lot of upside, that's what you need them to be able to do. You have to be able to plug and play him, right?
It's true. Yeah. Can you come in this week? Can you do this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise,
sit out this week. Can you come back and win this game? Yes.
But I mean, just like that Jets team, they have to draft a quarterback. If they don't draft a quarterback, they're fumbling.
They do.
Could they move up and get Bryce Young?
I wouldn't say top 5. Maybe top 5. I don't think they go Bryce Young. Will Levis maybe.
Thing is, I don't think do you guys think 2 quarterbacks are getting drafted in the top 5 this coming draft?
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, there's some defensive goats.
You don't think? You don't think?
Will Anderson, bro, sent him to Seattle.
Will Anderson, Jalen Carter.
There's some heavy hitters coming out of the defense in this draft.
Brian Breesy.
And we all know how the NFL preaches defense. And the thing is, I got the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl this year, but for me, defense wins. Like, I've preached it all season long. Defense beats offense. It doesn't matter if you have a number 1 defense. There's nothing an offense can do it to that. There's literally nothing. The 49ers have proved that this year. History has proved that a number 1 offense has never beaten a number 1 defense in the Super Bowl ever. It's never happened, not once. That is a statistic that I don't think will ever change. So,
how many times have a number 1 offense, number 1 defense played in the Super Bowl? It's gonna be a small sample size.
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't know.
Because
Actually,
when you have the number
prevalent.
1, when you have the number 1 of either, you are sacrificing somewhere. Like,
well, no, you gotta remember. No, that happens quite often. Actually, it actually happens quite often. Like, all right, so I'll give you the year the Ravens won in 2001. They were the number 1 defense. Terrible offense. They won the Super Bowl by a huge margin.
I have literally all of them right here. There's only 8 games ever. And this is playoffs. That number 1 versus number 1. So there were only 3 Super Bowls ever in the history of the NFL where the number 1 offense faced the number 1 defense. 3 times.
But, like, the trend normally goes defense wins. Like,
yeah, I mean,
90% of the
old saying, defense wins championships. But Kansas City hasn't had a good defense in years, and they've been the favorite each and every year, right? Like,
yeah, but they played a really good. Never mind. They didn't play like a number 1 defense last year in the Bengals, but Bengals defense is not bad.
Oh, the Bengals defense is, dude. No one talks about it. My brother and I talk about this all the time. My brother played at UC, so we played University of Cincinnati. He was on that team that went to the playoffs against Alabama. You know, that the non-Power 5 team.
Mm-hmm.
And Joel was on that team. He lived in Cincinnati. He was like, dude, like no one talks about the fact that this defense is like playing
It's
legit
really good.
football. Like no one knows any of their names, but they're playing legit
Well,
football.
Jesse Bates is easily one of the best free safeties in football.
Yeah.
They have good corners. They have good linebackers. Logan Wilson.
Yeah. And for the most part, though, like
That
most
D line
fans
is
don't know any
big
names.
and physical. That D line
100%.
is big and physical. DJ Reader, even though he got kind of eaten alive by the Ravens last week. Never mind. No, that defense is great. So, like, I think the Bengals going to the Super Bowl this year is dependent on how that defense holds up against some of these offenses.
These last batch of games, I will say, I'm not going to touch on some of them. Just as like the Panthers Saints game, there was nothing too crazy there.
A lot of these
No one
games are really
cares.
There's 3 games I want to talk about. The Cowboys Commanders game, I'm scared about this Cowboys roster going into the playoffs. Dak Prescott does not look comfortable. He does
I'm
not
not a
look
fan of
good.
Dak
I think he's
Prescott.
overrated in my opinion.
He is a bum.
I don't know if it's the receiving core that he has, that he just doesn't have talent.
Whoa.
Hold on. I will say this. Noah Brown was good off early on, figured it away. Michael Gallup has been up and down all season long. The only 2 receivers that have been consistent all season long for them, Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb in the receiving game from that team. It's consistent.
CeeDee Lamb and who? Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Dalton Schultz. Consistent is what I'm saying. I'm not saying great or bad or anything else. Consistently, you've had CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz as your top 2 receivers on that team. Everyone else has been up and down.
Awesome.
Everyone else has been up and down. The running game is great in my opinion. They have a
100%.
great 2-headed monster with Zeke and Pollard. You alternate between the 2 of them, they're great. If you're stuck with just one, it can get hairy sometimes.
He's an FA too, Tony Pollard.
He is, yeah.
Oh
But the play that Dak Prescott has had this year, I think he set a record for interceptions or some shit like that for that team, which is actually absurd. He's thrown a lot of interceptions this year.
Yeah, was it 15 or something like that?
15. Yeah, 15 interceptions, 23 touchdowns. Not a great look for a team.
He's horrible. He's got some of the worst reads I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you're throwing on play action. You're throwing on
bro. You have
2nd and 6 in play action.
You have a goated line.
Great defense. Great defense.
Receiving core and a great defense.
Great defense.
Bro, they have the same situation the Niners do, yet for some reason Dak Prescott's getting outplayed by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I think that this Niners roster is one of the best rosters we've ever seen.
It's completely
absurd
how good that roster is.
Yeah,
but I get
here's
what
the
you're
difference.
saying.
Brock Purdy, if he was a bum, he'd play like a bum. That's what I'm saying. Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is a bum. He's playing like a bum.
He's not performing well. He hasn't the last few weeks.
Those teams are so similar. Those teams are so similar, bro.
The 49ers are
they are more loaded.
They're more loaded. The depth of that team is better than the Cowboys.
And Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I will never argue that, but we can go toe to toe.
I'm not denying the Cowboys aren't great. They have talent.
Cowboys roster has been so awesome.
Yeah, they have talent. They have talent. The depth is where
for me that's the second most talented team in football.
The depth of that roster is the difference between, for me anyway, between the Cowboys and the 49ers.
I'd probably put it at 3, but
what would you say, Eagles 2?
I'd put Dallas between 3 and 4. No, I'd put Bills 2. I think that Bills roster is pretty stacked.
They are.
Well, I'm just talking about total depth.
The Cowboys don't really have depth. That's the problem. It's like they're every starter on that team is a star-studded player.
Well, they're superstar laden. It's kind of like that Rams team last year.
It is. It's everyone that's starting on that football field is great. Their backups are okay.
All right, if we're gonna go that route, then okay.
See, that's the thing. I was like, you take the Cowboys, you take your ones, you're winning. You put your backups on the field, you're probably gonna lose, in my opinion. If you put the backups of the Cowboys on the field, the thing with that 49ers team, you have star-studded, like top of the line offense in your ones. You put your twos on the field, that team could beat some of these teams in the NFL. Your backups in the 49ers could beat some of these teams. They really could.
Bro, that's a playoff team, low key.
Yeah.
Just their starters are every one of them's a freaking Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
Like,
you have an all-pro offense and defense, and then you take all of those guys out, and you still have a playoff team behind them. It's true.
I don't know, man.
The depth
That's so ridiculous.
whoever the GM of the 49ers is did a phenomenal job building that roster.
Dude, I forgot his name, but he deserves
He's
GM of the year,
ballin',
bro.
He's big
I mean,
ballin'.
Exec of the year, yeah, 100%.
Exec of the decade, bro. This team is crazy, bro. I tell you what, like, my uncle makes a good point. This is gonna
John
be really
Lynch,
telling
former
of-
safety.
John Lynch, yes. But my uncle makes a good point on, like, this is gonna be really tough. I'm a big fan of Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan's
The
legit.
Niners are
Great
the Niners
coach.
are going to the Super Bowl this year.
That's my
But
team.
if they don't, it's a bust.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's a big loss.
It's a huge bust.
That team is win now or don't win at all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And well, the nice part is they've done a lot of it outside of CMC. It's been through the draft.
Oh
So-
yeah,
But the thing is, bro, it's like, holy, if you can't win with this roster, if you lose the Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, at the end of the day, quarterback's the most important position in all of sports, and it's not close.
yeah.
So it's like, if you lose something like that, there's some sort of forgiveness. But if you don't get to a Super Bowl, ooh, like, is there a world where Kyle Shanahan then goes a little bit on the hot seat? Because, I mean, there's not
after
a
the
team.
record they had.
Nah,
But, like-
I don't think you put him on a hot seat. But
I agree, but there's a conversation should get started
Oh,
because this
definitely.
roster is the most talented roster
what
like
went
I've ever
wrong?
seen.
At least having that conversation of what went wrong, like how,
Yeah.
where did you mess up? How did you mess up with this? Like literally, the
100%.
championship is on a silver platter right in front of
Just-
your face.
If you look at this team up and down, they can put their twos in and win games.
Yeah, literally.
Exactly.
So for me, with that being said, I there's no way this team fumbles, bro. No, it's not. It can't happen. And Elijah Mitchell just came back. He just came back. He's healthy again. That's so you have two great running backs. You have the best fullback in football.
Yep.
You got three good receivers. One of them being elite, Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
You got George Kittle. You got a stacked O line.
That all offensive line has been phenomenal
Trent
all
Richardson's the
season.
best left tackle in football.
Trent Williams, yeah.
Trent Williams. That's
Yeah,
what I meant.
yeah,
My bad, my bad.
yeah.
Thanks.
You got the best D line in football.
I would
Yeah.
agree with that
You
to
got
a
the
T.
best
Eric
middle
Armstead,
linebacker
after
in
coming back,
football.
Eric Armstead's been
Because linebacking
You
core
got
is
the
disgusting.
be- You got the best linebacking core in football. You have
Mm.
Charvarius Ward, he's played above expectations this year.
Yeah.
He was a good corner, turned great.
It's the best
So-
secondary in football. There's another Pro Bowler back there, I believe, as well. It's just like, what the frick? How is the league let this happen?
This guy right here has been one of the biggest reasons this defense has been phenomenal this year. Talanoa Hufanga, this guy who's been training with freaking what's his name, Troy Polamalu. He's been training with Troy Polamalu all season this year. This guy has been a big reason that defense has been.
I think
Like,
Nick
at a higher
Bosa's
level.
18 and a half sacks is another big
I mean,
reason as well.
he's defensive player of the year.
Man
Oh
was
my
eating.
gosh! Wait, over Micah Parsons?
Yes,
Think so?
yes.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons has been
Im-
incredible though.
Parsons
Impact,
faded.
though.
Parsons
Impact.
faded towards the end of the year.
Did he?
Yes,
Nick
Did he?
Bosa every
Okay.
single
Bosa
game.
had at least 2.5 sacks every single game. Like it's
Yeah,
actually
Every
disgusting.
single
Towards the end of the
game,
year,
he's touching a QB.
back at
He's,
type.
But-
he's putting mitts on the quarterback every single game, in and out, like nonstop.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, it's rigged.
Fair.
Because
In the last
I
four
haven't
games,
given Bosa up,
games,
though.
Bosa had 6 sacks.
Yeah. I went to the Seahawks Niners game in Seattle on Thursday Night Football, that was pretty cool.
they don't even have to, bro. That team is about to have the easiest postseason run I think I'll ever watch. They're not even really gonna have to do a lot because that defense. is
Sorry,
just gonna
Doobie.
eat.
Oh, dude, I don't care about the Seahawks.
Listen,
at this point,
all
man.
three of our teams
I
are lose
wanted to
round one.
lose. I was hoping the Rams would win because I wanted Detroit to go to the playoffs.
I did too. I did too, and that was the
was-
last one I wanted to talk about. Was this Detroit
Hey,
Lions
you're a
team?
Seahawks fan, right?
He is, yeah.
I
Quote,
know you have to be.
unquote.
I know you have to
I'm-
be ecstatic though with how Geno Smith played this year.
Honestly, yeah, it's cool. There's the argument too, though. It's like, would you rather get a high pick, right?
You-
like, there
you
was
still have a
never
high
even
pick,
a
though.
thought
That's the thing.
you could get Denver's, but
Yeah.
no, but I mean, get like another high pick, right?
Alright,
Like,
2 high
I don't
picks,
know
yeah.
that. And Geno Smith irks me, bro. Like, I'm so happy for him. I'm glad my car was actually parked in his parking spot. Joel's first day when he went to camp they had him park in Geno's spot, so that's sick.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't because Joel was driving my car because his car was still in Cincinnati. I don't know, man. Seahawks just kind of annoy me. So it's kind of like I guess I'm like a Seahawks fan because I'm from Seattle or like the Seattle area.
Yeah.
But honestly, like this is the most not Seahawks fan thing ever. By like week 2, I found myself pulling for Cincinnati and pulling for freaking the Niners. Those are the 2 teams that I've been pulling for this year, bro. I'm not gonna cap.
Hey, there's
And
nothing
then-
wrong with that.
Yeah, and then just hoping an opportunity opened up for my brother on Seahawks.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
really like that was my football season. You know,
When I
so-
found out about that, I mean, that's what I was hoping for too. I really was.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
What's his road look like right now?
He's in the.
Uh,
he signed with in the XFL, right? Or not the XFL? Was
Yeah,
it the XFL?
he's down with the San Antonio Brahmas
Yeah.
down in
That team
yeah,
actually looks
so-
pretty dope. I look at some of the guys
I
on that
imagine-
team.
Bro, you know what's crazy is so I come from a really small town,
Mhm.
town called Aberdeen, and like we've had a pretty good football program, but our schools, I don't know, like I want to say it's like 500 kids or so, not super big, and another guy from my brother's class is on the Brahmas, that was like on the high school team. I actually played them, so my freshman year I actually started quarterback varsity, and
I remember the highlights.
my left tackle actually who was in Joel's grade because Joel went to IMG his senior year is also on that same San Antonio Brahmas team.
That's pretty cool.
W.
Which is just
That's pretty
wild.
lit.
It's crazy. Come from a small town, like stuff like that just doesn't happen. And so it's cool.
If you don't mind me asking, is his goal still to be in the NFL or
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets an NFL futures contract, which, you know, we'll see what happens. He might need to get a little bit more film, which will be nice about the whole situation with the Brahmas. But if he gets, you know, a futures contract, that's the plan. That's the goal.
That'd be cool.
It's NFL. You know, XFL's it's developed into a feeder, and so that's kind of been like the goal when Rock started taking over and stuff like that. They signed a contract with the NFL actually to work as like a feeder program.
That's pretty cool. Well,
And
hopefully,
so-
hopefully he finds his spot because he was
Yeah.
talented. He's got talent.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's his birthday actually.
Oh, is it really?
Happy
Well, happy
birthday,
birthday to him. Happy birthday to Joel. The last team I did want to touch on though before we moved on to the playoff teams was this Lions roster.
Over
This
that?
team playing phenomenal football towards the end of the year. That they made a run the last few weeks to try at least put them in a position to make the playoffs. Jared Goff this year, my
Dude,
God.
it's my dog.
my
bro.
God, he played great. He played
Yeah.
great all season long. This breakout season for Jared Goff, like for real.
Oh man.
Like,
Like-
coming into this year, they were in questions of him just being a bridge guy, and they're gonna find a quarterback this year. And now look where they're at. I mean, they don't make the playoffs,
100%.
yes, but they have a winning record. I will say this, then it's the biggest thing for me. Dan Campbell, I loved him as the interim coach in Miami.
He's keeping his job now, bro.
I loved him as the
He's not
interim
getting
coach in
fired.
Miami. He was a great assistant coach behind Sean Payton in New Orleans, and he's a great coach in Detroit. That man is a passionate coach. He knows how to get his locker room behind him, and he knows how to lead a team. Maybe he's not the greatest coach in the NFL. I'm not putting him up there yet, but he knows how to drive that team to win. It's
100%.
they focus week to week. They don't care about what's next week or who they're playing in 3 weeks or who's going to be playing in the playoffs. It's we're beating this team this week. That's what we're doing. And they
Yeah.
did it every single week this year. Literally, it's just we're focusing on this team. This is the guys we're playing. This is what we're doing. We're doing that. They have their game plan. They submit it and they play it. And he's led that roster. It's a team that probably one of the worst defenses in the NFL this year, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, probably the right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they were 32nd in the NFL in like points per game. But that offense has been phenomenal.
Oh, 100%.
Phenomenal.
I
But-
think that Jared Goff won like a 15-1 touchdown to pick like during this like winning streak. It was literally like 15 touchdowns in one pick.
He was insane. Insane. Like they were literally like from the beginning of the year, through the offseason, through training camp, Jared Goff was a bridge guy. He was just going to get them through the season to get them a high pick to get a quarterback. That was what they were doing. And he came out and he just played football.
Yep.
He played football. He did what he needed to do. They got their wins. He looked good, and he progressed more and more as the season went on. He looked good early on, but he looked great towards the end of the year. Like, this dude found his niche or whatever it was, found himself as a quarterback in the NFL. And he was doing it with guys like you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown is a star receiver. He is a very special, talented player. But look at the other guys he's throwing to. They got rid of Hawkinson. So your tight ends, you have Brock Wright. You have like Zylstra or something like that. I don't even know who the hell he is. He stepped up towards the end there. But like you're throwing to Khalif Raymond. You're throwing to Josh Reynolds.
A wash DJ Chark, right? Like
Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond. Do you know who those guys are? Tell me.
Only because I love the Lions, but no, nobody knows who those guys are.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
100%.
Look who Jared Goff is throwing to this year, and tell me besides Amon-Ra St. Brown, look who he's throwing to, and tell me like his stat line versus what he's throwing to. I don't like. Is this another like Daniel Jones situation? I don't know. But like
totally fair.
Great season out of Jared Goff.
And is he about to lose this OC? Because OC is getting offered head coaching jobs after this year. That's been one of the hot topics, one of the hot conversation guys is that Lions OC. Hopefully he comes back. Give him the bag, bro. Like
honestly,
because what you're building there, like the country's getting behind it.
They really were.
There's some levels to this whole thing where it's like, okay, is possibly not vying for a championship worth when you bring so many behind your brand?
Yeah.
It might be worth in this situation because nobody pulls against the Lions. Bro.
No.
You pull against the Lions, you're just a bad person.
Listen,
or you're betting against them. That's it.
How bad have the Lions been in the last like decade?
100%, man.
You mean the last 100 years?
I mean, easily the last decade. I mean, they've been horrible.
That's the worst team in football history, bro.
Like crazy. Like I'm really happy to see this team. I like Dan Campbell in Miami. Like I said, I liked him in New Orleans. He was a great coach.
One thing,
very passionate coach.
One thing I'm a little mad at you for not talking about is this team's red zone run game is
Jamal Williams.
Bro, Jamal Williams is the funniest guy in the league, bro.
Yes,
that guy's the GOAT.
He really is.
He went after every game. He went and watched some Naruto, bro.
He was the Pokemon this last week.
Oh yeah, you're right.
His intro, and then literally in his post game conference, he's like, I just want to go home and play Pokemon.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, he did the like Naruto Shippuden freaking with the headband on. That was lit, bro.
Yeah,
that was lit.
So funny, bro.
Great.
Oh my God.
He caught the eye of Barry Sanders though. Did you guys see that? Barry Sanders was literally praising him.
You know why, right?
I love it.
He passed Barry Sanders in touchdowns. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, he broke Barry Sanders' touchdown record in a year. 17 tutties this year.
Yeah. But I mean,
17 touch. He was a 1,000-yard rusher and 17 touchdowns. That's getting it done, baby.
Yeah, and that's being a backup running back.
Yeah,
because they did not start the season with Jamal Williams as their starting running back. DeAndre Swift was their starter.
I think DeAndre Swift is better, but like red wise, Jamal Williams.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That team's run game in the red zone is top tier. If they get within 15 yards of that end zone, you're getting your pounded. Because,
definitely.
Hold on,
bruh.
I'm kidding.
We cuss. We throw a few words on this podcast.
Yeah. It's not a family friendly podcast by any means. No.
You don't got to worry about that.
Nah.
No. I was just trolling.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm messing with you.
Pounded. I'm like,
I'm messing with you. Yeah. They getting pounded, bruh.
Nah, but for real though, that Lions team, I'm really happy to see what they have building there. Like they outperformed any expectations that anyone had for that team this year, and I'm really happy to see it. I think that team is a team that they're an underdog story for sure. Like no
Yeah.
one expected them to beat
Yeah.
the Packers in Lambeau in Week 18 on a chance for the Packers to make the playoffs, and you go up to Lambeau and
Mhm.
beat them. Like no way.
Yeah.
Facts.
You could not have told me at least a couple of weeks ago that this Lions team would have beat the Packers at Lambeau to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. No chance.
Heard.
W Lions, dude.
Great game. Great season for them.
Oh, excuse me, jeez.
So we got wildcard weekend this week. Dallas, you're taking San Francisco. I'm taking San Francisco. Doobie, San Francisco.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is. I tell you what, though, it's a little bit of a scary line because you see this a lot when coaches come out and they start praising this other team. That's because they know something. And Pete Carroll came out this week, bro, and was praising how good the Niners are. I don't know, bro. I ain't part of that because he's got something up his sleeve. The line's at, is it 9.5?
I think so. I can pull these real quick.
It's 8.5 or 9.5. And I mean, there's no doubt Niners will win this football game. Not a doubt in my mind. With that being said, I actually don't know if I would bet that line.
Does
I'll be
Brock
honest.
Purdy get the playoff jitters?
Valid. But I mean, Brock Purdy is a. I could go in that offense and it could work, bro. There's so much freaking talent.
See,
It's
this-
Niners
this
by
is-
10.
This is
Niners by 10.
All right,
Yeah.
So
I gotta debunk this, bro, because it actually irks my nerves a little bit. Brock Purdy's played better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and
Absolutely.
Jimmy Garoppolo
Yep.
has 11 years of experience in the NFL.
The craziest
100%.
part is if you take Purdy's last 4 games or Purdy's first 4 games and Garoppolo's last 4, Garoppolo was actually better, but I'm not trying to knock Purdy by any means.
Brock Purdy just set a record, actually.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
not a record, but he just did
Oh, yeah.
something that only 2 other quarterbacks have done.
Marino did
And
it.
that's throw multiple touchdowns in his first 5 starts.
Marino did it.
Marino and some dude I've never heard of did it. Only 3
he
quarterbacks.
is a special quarterback, I think. I
No,
generally think
he's
that.
respect it. I mean, you're plugging in a. It's like this is literally I don't know, bro. Like he's gonna do super well when everything's so perfect around him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
obviously.
don't get me wrong. I think he's so. I've been loving watching him. I like
Mhm.
Purdy. I do. But I mean, Mac Jones was great last year, right? Like he was awesome, and that wasn't nearly as good a scenario as this. And we're talking about maybe the most talented roster at least any of us have ever seen.
Yeah, definitely.
So, see, here's the thing. I actually do think Mac Jones is a great quarterback. You
Great,
gotta look.
great.
You gotta
or good?
listen.
I would
listen,
say
you
good
gotta
at
think,
best.
You gotta think of how long he's played football. It's like apparently really not that long. He picked the game up super quick, and they've had horrible OC issues all year long.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Valid.
Yeah.
No, I hear that. But I mean, even when he was playing really well last year, it was limited. Like that's the thing is you have to have a little bit of wow. You have to if you're going to be a great quarterback. I agree. I think he's good at best. Obviously, I mean, he played well last year.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I think that
The thing is, where I'm really liking Brock Purdy is if you watch the way he's playing football, he's like people were saying that they're playing safe football. I've watched him take shots and throw dots 30 yards down the field.
yeah.
I've watched him make reads that Joe Burrow's making spot on, same. Like I'm watching a quarterback. He looks like he's a seasoned quarterback.
I agree.
He made like literally no mistakes. His picks are garbage time picks. His picks are like his receiver knocking the ball up in the air, or it's like none of his throws were bad. It's like
He's only
I don't-
made. I can count on one hand the mistakes he's made. I can literally count on one hand.
I watched him in person. I watched one time as he completely split both safeties, and it was a late release tight end goes up the middle of the guy. The Red Sea split for this dude, for George Kittle, and he just walks free into the end zone. I mean, that's part of that schematic. I'm sure they told him exactly like what to do here, but he still had to do it, right?
Yep.
And so not everyone can. And then, so I totally hear it. I like Purdy. I think he's more talented. I think he's better than Mac. I do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You're plugging him into a perfect.
yeah, he's
scenario.
in a
Oh, yeah.
perfect situation.
He's in a great
the
spot.
Perfect situation.
He's
And
in
Kyle
a
Shanahan
great
said
spot.
he's like, I don't need a star quarterback. I need
I-
somebody who can just
I
get the ball
actually-
in
You don't.
playmakers.
You don't need in that system. You don't. You don't need anyone
I agree.
crazy good to
I
do
actually want your
anything.
opinion on this because me and Cobra have been debating this since
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's taken over.
Yup.
I would
Yeah.
love your opinion. Okay,
Okay.
if Brock Purdy takes this Niners team to the Super Bowl and they win,
Yeah.
does he get the starting job next year?
Yes.
This is where the team is
I'm
fully invested
I'm-
in Trey Lance.
I
I
feel
don't
the
think-
same.
I
feel
don't
the
know
same.
that. I don't know
But
that Trey
for
Lance is even
me-
the next
for-
guy up.
For me, my deciding factor is this kid came in very late in the year. Came in very late in the year. Played great all 5 games.
Third string quarterback. Yep.
Took my team to the Super Bowl. Won the Super Bowl. And now, like, I can see a fight in the offseason, maybe with Trey Lance, but he's coming off a really kind of serious injury.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Trey Lance is even the guy if it's not Purdy. I think they're bringing someone in if it's not Purdy.
I
They
would be
would go
giving it
Jimmy
to-
G.
if they
Jimmy
win the
G's
Super
Jimmy
Bowl-
G's gonna leave. In my
I
opinion.
think you're probably right, but I'm just saying I don't think that they go to Trey Lance in general. I think Trey Lance he can't complete the ball at a high enough level, like straight up. Preseason when he did play, and now he's gotten hurt. I just think it's tough unless he starts showing
Yeah,
some
before
crazy
he got
things
hurt, he
behind
did look
closed
really
doors.
bad.
He looked terrible.
See,
And
I don't know, man. Like they invested a lot in Trey Lance. They did. They invested that high first round pick for him. They
100%.
sat him for a reason behind Jimmy G for one season. They committed to having Jimmy G teach him for a year, and then they were gonna let him take over. He got one game and got hurt. So I mean,
Well, it was a couple, wasn't it?
it was week 2.
He played
Week
the
2.
first. Yeah,
He
was
played
it
the
week
first
2?
weekend. He got hurt week 2. Yeah.
He played the first week. He looked
Yeah.
terrible. They lost.
That was
game.
in the rain in
just-
Chicago. That was that game
Oh, yeah,
in
that
Chicago.
was-
No, that
where
was
they were
they were
swimming.
underwater.
They were swimming.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, bro, like, I don't think that the people inside, like, I don't know, just like from stuff that was talked about, I don't know if even the people inside of that camp, in the San Francisco camp, were like really like love him. I honestly, I could see, it would be crazy if they made a move for like Derek Carr. I'm not saying they're going to. I know that there's some other places he's rumored to go, but like, that's something that they find somebody else. I can see that happening before. I just don't think that they go back into Trey Lance. I think they're in too much of a win now mode.
If anything, the way I saw it, and I've said it to Dallas, is like they invested in him before. Yes, he's gonna come back at some point. I don't know when he'll be healthy to come back. When he does come back, I guarantee you, because they were invested in Lance, I think they give him a chance to battle for that spot back. It's like Jimmy G going down originally. Like Jimmy G went down, and then you have the other guys that come in. Jimmy G had a chance to come back, and he obviously didn't. Like he had that guys, they went with that guy. But like I think Lance will
That's
come in
fair.
and fight for it. I think because they invested in him, they're gonna give him a chance to get his spot back. I don't know.
Okay,
I won't
that's
know.
fair.
I won't know. You don't know how it's gonna play out because Lance was very talented before he got hurt. He was a very talented quarterback
100%.
coming out of college. He sat for a full season behind Jimmy G.
Exactly.
He sat for a
100%.
full
Well,
season to learn the NFL, to catch up to speed in the NFL.
He sat a full season before that in college.
He did,
He
yes.
didn't play that last year.
He didn't. So he's out. He's been out for 2 years. He's missed 2 years of football, technically.
100%. I'm with you. And now he's missed the
Actually,
third.
so this is three full seasons practically of football.
This is 3 seasons, man.
Yeah.
And do you want to risk a guy who's missed 3 seasons with all of your starting reps? And
I'm
all
not
those-
saying they're gonna completely move on from him. I think they let him
Okay.
fight for it.
I do agree with you. That's totally fair. They could totally bring him back and let him fight for it. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
That's totally valid.
Yeah.
To say that Trey Lance has no chance of coming back, that's naive.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think that starting spot is Purdy's, and Purdy has to now
It's
lose.
Purdy's to lose. Yeah. At this point. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I think. So
Yeah.
that's fair.
I was never saying like Purdy's not like as soon as Purdy wins a championship, he's not going to be the starter. No, what I said was is they're going to fight for it. I think that's a valid thing for them to do.
Yeah, I think there could be a fight for it, but honestly, if Purdy wins the Super Bowl,
It's his job, yes, but Lance is not out of the question because they've
they have
invested
nothing to
in
lose
him.
after that. They already won everything.
Yeah.
Especially because no one's crediting Purdy. They're crediting Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the team.
Crediting the
So
roster.
Yeah, that's a totally fair take. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting thing to see as Lance gets healthy again. I don't know if he'll be ready for the beginning of the year. I don't know. Who knows? If once training camp comes around, we don't know what their plans are for the offseason. We don't know because we have to see what they do in this postseason. If they win the championship, I mean, they could just be it'll be Purdy's job for straight up. Jimmy G's moving on. There's no way he returns to the 49ers again, in my opinion. He was ready to leave before this year. So
Yeah,
and then he got
What
hurt.
the market looks like though.
He came in
Super Bowl and he's done.
He came
He just
back because no
retires.
one wanted him. At the price at the price he had. His contract was stupid at that point.
Yeah.
But he's a free agent at the end of this year. Like his contract.
I don't
is
think
fully
he's
up.
successful in another organization. I really don't.
He's gonna be like what Carson Wentz is for the freaking Commanders.
Yeah, I mean he's maybe the best bridge quarterback you're gonna find.
Yep,
He's
the best available bridge quarterback coming up. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If a team misses out on a quarterback in the draft, he'll go there and just win like 6 or 7 games.
What we got for next?
Next game is the Chargers Jaguars. We're both Jaguars guys in this one, Doobie.
I'm riding a train, bro.
I'm gonna go Chargers. I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay.
Because I just like you still have Keenan Allen. They spent most of their year without Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. You still have Keenan Allen. I know you also lost Joey Bosa, which hurts. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But I think that blatantly this Chargers roster is more talented still.
I agree.
I do like Doug Peterson over freaking whatever
Staley.
His name is. Staley. Yeah.
Yep.
Brandon Staley.
He's a clown.
Terrible.
Yeah. No, he's not a great coach.
I like some of his philosophy. I like some of the philosophy, but you have to do it in measurement, right? Like you don't pour the entire thing of sugar when you're making cookies. You do a bit of it, right? Like analytics matter, they're important. And I do agree with some of his willingness to risk in spots, but the ideology of doing this every single time and taking away football and in-game time knowledge is ridiculous. But so I do absolutely like Doug Peterson better. I'm a little worried about the biggest game of Trevor Lawrence's career to date. I think in the long term, he's going to be amazing in big games. As of right now, the one big game we watched him play, he really struggled. They won in spite of him. But could they win? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. And I don't know. I'm probably going to go ahead and take the Chargers, and I think it's a coin flip.
My biggest take on this game, I'm riding the hot hand. The Jaguars are playing passionate football right now. They're playing inspired football. The Chargers are coming off a game where they had lots of injuries to starters. They lost Mike Williams. Yeah. He's doubtful to play this week. Joey Bosa re-aggravated his groin. I don't know what his status is for this week. Kenneth Murray, middle linebacker for the Chargers, he got hurt in that game. He got carted off the field with a knee injury. I don't know his status for the game.
Yeah.
You had Herbert actually go down with another rib injury in this past game. So I don't know how hard he got hit hard late in that game. Like someone planted him. So injuries piled up heavy for this Chargers team in a game that didn't mean anything. So that was big. That was a big thing for me is like they played their starters in a game that didn't matter and got badly hurt going into a playoff game that means more than a Week 18 game against a team that wasn't going anywhere and it didn't matter. So I don't know what injury status is other than I know Mike Williams is doubtful to play. With those injuries, I mean, you could have significant outs, like significant players missing against a Chargers team that is, or against a Jaguars team that's hot right now. They are hot. If they can get that run game going, and if you don't have Joey Bosa, that's scary. That's scary. Travis Etienne has proved that when he can get the run game going, no one can stop him.
Totally. And I mean, Jags have won 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're hot.
They're playing good football, man. And Chargers are 4-1 in that same span.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you said, the Chargers are a better roster. I agree with that. But this Jaguars team is hot at the right time.
And they're better coached. So I'm gonna stick to my Chargers, but like
I respect your opinion. I respect that. I definitely do.
That's gonna be a fun game to watch.
This will be a fun game to watch, yeah, definitely. I mean, the Jags haven't been there since 2017, so they've been out for 5 years. Like they're playing inspired football right now. They're happy to be there.
And Justin, it's not like we've seen Justin Herbert in this moment either.
It's
right?
true.
Like Justin Herbert hasn't played in this moment. He hasn't been in the playoffs. So
It's true. Neither of these teams is experienced in that position, in my
Yep.
opinion. Like the current teams, anyway.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Bills, we already touched on. Without a quarterback, this offensive team for the Dolphins just doesn't exist. So this
it's gonna
Bills
be a bit of a beatdown.
this Bills team is basically having a practice warm up game for whoever they play second round, which
Yeah.
is probably going to be Baltimore or Cincinnati, probably Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But yeah,
be
I mean,
quiet, bro.
unfortunately, that's just gonna be a beatdown.
This defense is about to eat. There's going to be 3 defensive touchdowns for Baltimore, and it's just going to be GG's. Joe Burrow's going to throw 2 picks.
I mean,
Joe Mixon's going to cough the football up. You know, you know what? I'm optimistic,
What's
bro.
the spread
we got
on
a
that
top
game?
5 defense in the NFL, bro. We got
That's like
actually
me
we got
with
the
the
second
Blazers.
best defense in the NFL.
Bengals by
We
8.5.
have the second best defense in the NFL. The Ravens defense is about to eat. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. There ain't nobody running the football against us.
It'll be a good game.
Marlon Humphrey's gonna have a pick 6. I don't care.
It's gonna come down to who the hell's starting at quarterback for Baltimore? It's Tyler Huntley, right?
It's not Lamar.
It's not Lamar.
It's Anthony Brown.
Is it or is it Huntley?
Oh, actually, it could be Huntley. Never mind. I think it's Tyler Huntley.
Even still though, like.
But you know
It's
what?
not
Hey,
Lamar.
guess what? I'm throwing this curveball in there. J.K. Dobbins has led the league in rushing yards and yards per carry since he's come back. He can have a big game against the Bengals. The Bengals don't have a great run defense.
I don't think that's true.
Not against one of the best rushing offensive lines in the NFL.
That's fair, but they do have a good run defense. They do. Like they've been.
Well, it don't matter. I don't care.
Okay.
No, JK has every opportunity to go for 150 yards in this game. I'm banking on what I know could work. So
Totally fair. You know what? I'm gonna come out and say this though. Joe
The
Burrow's second best quarterback.
The Bengals were number 5 against the run this year.
Joe Burrow's second best quarterback in the NFL.
I'll die on that rock.
Okay.
I think he is, man. I think he's better than Josh Allen.
I can respect it.
I will agree with you on that. I will.
I'm gonna just for this season. I gotta give the edge to Jalen Hurts. I have to.
Jalen Hurts, come on.
For this entire season, that man has played great football.
Valid.
And he was the difference maker on that team. We saw what the Eagles look like without him.
He's not wrong there. That team is
Hey, I think he's awesome. I think he's getting an argument for getting close to that top 5 area, but he's not. He's not.
For me, this season he's in it. That man made
So he's playing.
Mistakes.
He's number 4
playing at a very, very high level.
He's number 4 in the MVP vote. Number 4.
Well, we've seen, the problem is we've seen really bad out of him.
Yeah.
So because we've seen that,
he's had really high highs and really low lows.
Yeah, because we've seen the lows. Some of these other guys we haven't
I've seen
lows.
Joe Burrow play. I've seen Joe Burrow play bad games.
Joe Burrow was hurt the entire offseason, and his preseason was the first couple games this year. Outside of that, that dude has been incredible his entire way through.
Yeah.
And this guy took you also got to give respect to the fact that he is completely this was a franchise everyone said he should refuse to sign with. Although now we see a really talented roster, he has been the turning point of this entire franchise.
Oh, he really has.
We now respect the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
That matters.
Yeah.
And he took a team with the worst offensive line in the playoffs by a mile to the Super Bowl. And honestly, could have won it up until those last moments.
I agree wholeheartedly with you on all those points. I do.
Okay.
But if you look at the season Jalen Hurts had
an amazing season.
He did.
Jalen Hurts
He's number 4.
Cooking.
He's my number 4. Behind Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen. I'll put him at 4. I will put Jalen Hurts at 4.
Jalen Hurts was doing stuff Joe Burrow can't do.
I'll put him at 4.
That's for so is Justin Herbert. Doesn't mean Justin Herbert's better.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well,
Okay,
no,
this is
Justin
gonna
Herbert
really this.
ain't moving the football the way Jalen Hurts was.
I agree. Jalen Hurts is way better than Justin Herbert. I'm not saying that.
Mm.
I'm just saying you're talking about like, okay, we just want to talk about like things. I mean, Joe Burrow's doing things throwing the football that Jalen Hurts
Yeah,
can't do.
This
Joe
is
Burrow
also true.
Yeah, it's yes.
completely dissects defense.
Burrow's reads are
Like,
top
Cobra,
notch.
how many times have I said if Joe Burrow gets protection, he has the best progression in
He
football.
does. Yeah, literally.
Yep.
He has the best progression
To a T.
in football.
Listen,
Yup.
if he had an offensive line, he's
But-
number 1 in the NFL.
But
He is.
I am very, very strict on grading per season.
Okay, that's fair.
He does go
I-
season by season. Yes, he does.
I am not
Respect it.
saying
That's where he
I am
was
not-
with Tua
I am
earlier.
not saying that Joe Burrow is. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow.
Okay,
I am saying
as long
this
as we're here,
season.
all right,
Yeah.
that's fair.
I am saying this season, Jalen Hurts is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL. I cannot bet against that.
Yep.
Not after the stuff I've seen him do. 2 elite defenses. 2 elite defenses, not just like
Yeah.
run of the mill bum defenses. He's played some of the best defenses the NFL has had to offer this year, and he has cooked.
Yeah,
Cook.
hey, he's been awesome. I'm not as much like season to season. I'm a little bit more about body. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
I
that's
got
where
you.
we'll-
Listen, I 100% agree. Overall, Joe Burrow is a better quarterback, but
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts
he's been awesome.
He's on a
He has
climb. He's
been-
improved every single year in this league.
I
And if
agree.
that's a trend that continues, this
And
dude
he's a-
will be a scary, scary guy to play against.
He's such a fun story too. Like he's awesome. Believe me. I mean, I want the guy to, I want him to
Strongest
do
quarterback
well.
in the NFL.
I mean, well, and the fact that look at his route, bro. He gets benched in the national championship game to Tua, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then he's the best teammate he can be. Then does awesome at Oklahoma, and then goes to the NFL. He just gets doubted everywhere he goes, and now he's finally breaking through. And it's an
Bro,
awesome story.
These numbers are nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Before you dip into Jalen Hurts, let's wrap up the rest of this wild card weekend though.
numbers are nuts.
Giants Vikings. This game, the spread's only 3, literally 3 points, and
Yeah,
then the home
Giants
team
winning, bro.
What
gets
was the
3. It's 3. Vikings by
Okay.
3, and the home teams get 3. So
They get
it's
3, so
literally
it's
an
a true
even
coin
game.
flip.
It is an even game,
Yep.
and this is the closest even game in my opinion. I don't like the Vikings. I don't. I genuinely think
Giants
if Daniel Jones shows up and they can run the football against his Vikings team, they're winning this game. I think that's where it
Okay.
comes down to.
I think that when you have something this close, right? Dable is an edge for
Yeah,
Giants.
definitely.
Don't get me wrong.
100%.
Then you take weapons in general as an edge for the Vikings.
Yep.
With that being said, and then let's talk about who's the best player in this matchup.
In this matchup, Justin Jefferson.
And it's by a gap.
Oh,
Saquon's
yeah.
probably next,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But there is a substantial gap. If we just go, let's take the best players for both teams. Okay, so we go Jay Jettas, then Saquon.
Yep.
Then who's next?
Yeah,
I think your next.
on that list, Thielen, maybe
Yeah,
Cousins,
you got-
maybe Cousins.
Or Dalvin Cook, right? Or like you
People
have some of
forget
these-
Dalvin Cook. On that
Dalvin
team,
Cook's a
like
stud.
he is, but he hasn't had that level that he normally does. He's regressed in my opinion
believe me,
this
I'm
year.
aware.
He's taken a
In
step
my
back this year.
$100 buy-in league, I had him.
Yeah, he's definitely taken a step back this year, but he is a stud running back. He is.
He is. And so, I don't know. And you actually have some playoff experience on the side of the Vikings.
They do, yeah. Yep.
And so,
This literally is a flip here.
bro,
the
I
one
don't
thing
feel
I
good
will
about
say,
taking the Vikings.
I don't either.
Believe
I don't
me.
like the Vikings in this one.
Every time they've played this year, it's been a close game.
Which Kirk Cousins is
Yeah.
showing up? Which Kirk Cousins is showing up in this game? That's
1
your question.
billion%.
Which Kirk Cousins is going to show up? Is it the Kirk Cousins that showed up against Dallas a couple weeks ago when he threw for only 100 yards?
Reach, bro.
Or is it the Kirk Cousins that's going to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns or whatever? Like,
yeah.
who's going to show up here? If Kirk Cousins doesn't
Reach.
show up here, they're going to get blown out because this
They're getting
offense
busted.
will not slow down. This Giants offense will not slow down. If they're pulling away, they're not going to stop.
Bro,
They will
Daniel
not.
Jones has another game where he has 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing. Oof.
Bro, hey, I'm saying it now. 10 catches, 125 plus yards and 2 tutties coming out of Jay Jettas, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jettis is gonna
I don't
show up.
know.
Jettis is gonna show up. He is. He's gonna show up.
He's had it. I don't know, man. I don't
Can we all
know.
agree
They've had a
he's
long
wide
time.
receiver 1? He's the best wide receiver in football.
He is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Adams is close
Bro.
up there. Like Devontae Adams is
agree.
up there, but
Well,
Cooper Kupp is up there for me still too, man. I really like Cooper Kupp.
I do
really
too. I do too. But
Cooper Kupp's awesome, but Cooper Kupp was a quantity guy. Like, they just got him the ball so freaking much.
he would.
Yeah,
He's
and
he's
he made plays.
he's to the Rams like McCaffrey was to the Panthers.
100%, bro. Preach.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
But I definitely think he's up there, but I think that number 3 to me, a close third, is Jamar Chase. When you watch Jamar Chase,
That dude's a
Oh,
freak.
man.
That dude's a freak.
his ability to separate, I think that in the next couple years, especially having Joe Burrow, he definitely could take the number 1
That
spot.
dude's a
Like,
freak.
he was the number 1 when they played together in LSU when Jay Jez was older.
That dude's a freak.
So-
I'll keep saying that.
he-
That dude is a
bro.
freak.
Yo,
Yeah.
all I know is the league is going to have a storm when Marvin Harrison Jr. enters the NFL.
Bro, he's stud.
Yeah.
It's
He's
fun.
got
Wide receivers are
listen,
fun right now.
He's got big shoes to fill.
Yep.
'Cause
Definitely.
I listen. This is a hot take. This might actually bother Doobie. I don't know. I truly think Marvin Harrison was the best receiver to ever play in football.
That doesn't. I mean, I don't think he is, but I think that's fine. I think he was a stud.
If people, I love to do this to people. People say
He
Jerry
does.
Rice, right? People say Jerry Rice, right? Jerry
He's
Rice,
considered the
right?
GOAT. Yeah.
Marvin Harrison averaged more catches, more yards, and more touchdowns per game than Jerry Rice. If he had played
Totally.
as many games, he'd break every single record.
But longevity.
And then for
matters.
me,
Longevity does matter, though.
this is probably another one, Buggy. Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson's a stud. Calvin Johnson should have been the best wide receiver of all time.
He should have been as fast as he was. Should have been as athletic as he was.
And with the fact that Matthew Stafford has no problem throwing to the same guy 25 times in a game.
Yep.
He has no problem doing that,
Half
bro.
of all of Matthew Stafford's passing stats are to Calvin Johnson.
Literally.
And now
half.
at this point, the other half are Cooper Kupp.
At this point, yeah. Yeah.
This guy's thrown to nobody else this career,
Yeah.
bro.
Literally just 2 receivers. Literally just 2 receivers.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like gonna end up top 5 in passing yards.
Yep.
Like
Literally. All right, so to move on, we got one more game. It's Cowboys Bucks. It's the last
I'm
game
not betting
of
against
the
Tom Brady
week.
in the playoffs.
The spread is only 2.5 for Dallas. I don't like Dallas in this game. I think this is a trap game for them. Tom Brady knows how to win in the playoffs. He
Every
does.
time I've said Tom Brady's losing in the playoffs, he's won. I'm not doing it no more. I refuse.
all year long when you've bet
If
against
Tom
Tom Brady,
Brady-
he's won.
Every single time you bet against Tom Brady, you lose. I'm going Tom Brady. I just F it at this point. Fuck it.
dude, I got a funny story about that. So I went to we used to
It's
like
so
a
dumb.
bunch of some of my buddies. We would all watch every Monday Night Football game together, right? And one night the game was pretty boring. It was when Bucks played the Saints, and there's about 3.5 minutes left. And I say to one of my buddies, I go, and this is where Tom Brady brings it back. They're down like 10 at the time.
Yep.
Like, this is where Tom Brady brings it back. Watch.
Yep.
They're like, you want to bet? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna bet that. Like, there's 3.5 minutes left. I don't care who you are.
Oh, yeah.
You're down 10. Like, I'm not betting that. And then my other buddy goes, all right, 50-1. And the dude, so confident, goes, all right, I'll take that. He's like, but you have to do minimum $10. So, because the guy was just gonna do $5. He's like, you gotta do minimum 10. And then Tom Brady proceeds to dissect the Saints.
Yep.
Come back and win. That dude had to pay my other buddy $500.
Oof. You can't bet against Tom Brady. You just can't.
Why do it?
Literally,
He's got
literally,
7 rings.
that man knows how to win in the last 2 minutes of any
He
football game.
does.
He does.
He does. But I mean, dude, it's just such a roster discrepancy.
It is.
Like, if
Another
the
talented
Bucks
roster.
have just
what's
been
going on?
bad.
They have
You know,
underperformed.
like-
They've underperformed this year.
They've
I
just
think
been-
it comes
exactly.
down to their coach, in my
And
opinion.
Todd
It comes down to their
Bowles?
what?
Their coach, Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles,
Yeah,
okay.
and their offensive line's just been bad. So
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
Tom Bowles has not been good.
They've
their
missed
offensive
starting
line
center
all
missing.
year.
Starting pro
People have
center.
been hurt.
Starting pro
I
center. You
agree.
lost your left guard. Shaq Mason's missed a little bit of time as well. So the center of your line has rotated around a lot this year.
Are they back?
No, the
Oh.
starting center tore his ACL. He's out for the year.
Ryan Jensen's he's
Yeah.
got a rough road back to football,
Yeah.
and he's an older lineman.
So-
he's not going to be the same, man.
The
And what's
line
the
that the line that he has this year, it's not a
It's
in my opinion, it's not a championship line.
I agree. And so here's my thing. I agree with you. Never bet against Tom Brady.
Just can't.
With that being said, I mean, dude, the roster, what's the strongest thing that Dallas brings to the table?
Against this Bucks team, the pass rush.
Yeah.
That's right.
The pass
Their
rush.
pass
Yeah.
rush.
Micah
That
Parsons
is
is gonna eat.
Micah Parsons is gonna that entire defensive line because they got a couple,
Dexter
I don't know their names.
Lawrence,
They got
or not
Dexter
Dexter? Is it
Lawrence,
yeah, Dexter?
Freak!
No, is it Dexter or Demarcus? Or what?
DeMarcus.
Is it DeMarcus Lawrence?
DeMarcus. I think so.
Something like it's one of those names. Dexter Lawrence is the
DeMarcus.
nose tackle of the
We
Giants.
had DeMarcus
Dexter's on the-
where? Hold on. Am I
No,
faded?
listen, it's DeMarcus Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is on the.
He's on the
Giants.
Giants. Yeah. It's
There we
Demarcus
go.
Lawrence.
Okay. I'm just saying, man, like, bro, like Tom Brady is old too, man.
Yeah.
Like everything's gonna have to be pre-snap.
If you look at
And-
his numbers, though, he really didn't play as bad as people think this
He
year.
didn't.
No,
I agree.
he made it work with what he had. I think
Absolutely.
he missed a tight end this year. Brady has always
100%.
loved his tight ends. He's always loved his tight ends, and
Preach.
the losing Gronk this offseason, it hurt him significantly in the offense.
Absolutely.
Having to deal with two rookie tight ends, O'Keefe and Cade Otton, and then mixing in Cameron Brate. I think was it Brate? No, Brate left. I think. Whoever the hell whoever the hell the third tight end was, but like losing Gronk and then replacing him with two rookies and a guy
He
that's
had
just
4,600
nothing
passing yards
nothing
this year.
special. Yeah,
No, don't get me wrong. But now
Holy
you're going
shit.
against an elite.
yeah.
Like you can say what you want against Dak. You can say what you want against anything offensively. They're going against an absolutely elite defensive pass rush and elite freaking Diggs. Trayvon Diggs. Is a
Trayvon
stud.
Diggs. Yep.
Trayvon Diggs. When you have playmate. Oh, hold on. What?
Dude.
What'd you say, Cobra?
No, Trayvon Diggs. Yeah. I was
Oh, I
agreeing
think he
with
was
you,
out. I was
No,
like,
no,
did I
no,
miss
no,
something?
no, no. But
No, but like when you have playmakers make plays. You know what I'm saying?
Opposite-
And you're gonna have
opposite Diggs though, they lost a lot. So they lost their starting
Yeah.
number 2. They lost their starting number 3. They lost their slot corner, and they're down a safety. So
Fair.
I'm pretty sure Mike Evans, Godwin, and Julio are playing in this game.
they are. He's got all his receivers back for the playoffs.
That's 3 playoff receivers. man.
Also, Brady has never lost to
Holy
Dallas.
Dallas.
He's never lost to Dallas in his career. He's 7-0.
really.
Yes.
That's wild. Actually.
Yep.
I'm not going. I'm not betting.
Oh,
on
it'll be a fun game, bro.
It'll be a good game to watch.
Bro,
100%.
You know what's stupid about that too is
What's up?
like historical facts with Tom Brady fucking matter in this league.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh my god,
do.
Tom
bro.
knows all of them, bro.
Yes.
He knows all of them. He's not
If
gonna
he's
lose
undefeated,
them, bro.
if
Yep.
he's undefeated to a team, he's not losing that record.
Yep.
Oh man,
At this point in his
Cowboys
career,
are-
yeah. Like
bro, he's about to
he's
have
playing.
a 390.
He's literally
passing yard
playing
game,
currently
bro.
to literally make it so that no one can ever catch him in any of his stats. That's literally why
Yeah,
he's
he's
still playing.
stat padding, and
He's
about to have
literally
an
he's
eighth ring.
literally playing
Bro, dude,
at
if
this
he gets
point
his eighth ring,
because he doesn't
I'm
want anyone to
done
be
watching
anything
football.
better than him. He wants to be that number 1.
Facts.
That's
If
why
he-
Brady's still playing.
If he gets his 8th ring, I do not. I'm not watching football no more.
Dude.
Dallas,
I'm
do you remember
just
what I said
saying.
early on? It like
Yeah, was that
the
was
Brady
that
coming
TikTok you
back?
shared me, bro?
Yes,
Oh
Brady
my
coming
God,
back
bro.
to like how bad they started out, and then Brady just figuring it out and coming back and winning a
Bro,
championship.
they somehow managed to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs,
Yep.
bro. They beat the Panthers and made the playoffs. And now it's Tom Brady
Yep.
in the playoffs. And if you've watched football for the last 20 years, who you would be high to bet against Tom Brady
Yep.
in the playoffs? I don't care what the spread is. I don't care if he's playing the number 1 team of all time. I don't care if he's playing a team that's not giving up a touchdown all season.
I'm gonna
It's
put. I'm
Tom
gonna give you
Brady
one crazy stat.
in the playoffs.
Tom Brady's number 1 offense was playing Atlanta's number 1 defense in the Super Bowl, and they won that Super Bowl. Just saying.
Atlanta's what?
Atlanta had the number 1 defense that year. That year that
Oh,
they were
yes.
in the Super Bowl, Atlanta had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Tom Brady had the number 1 offense, and he beat Atlanta
Wait,
in
no,
that Super Bowl.
That's cap.
It is not. It is not. It is.
What
I
year
looked
was
up that stat. It was one of the 6 teams that were the number 1 offense played the number 1 defense.
Let me look at this.
He said, "Let me look at
Go
this."
ahead. Go ahead.
What year? What year was that?
It's
2016?
20. Whenever the hell they fucking beat the Falcons, I don't remember. Patriots, Falcons Super Bowl.
What was that? 2016?
I mean, Brady's been out of New England for 3 years.
I think it was 2016, right?
It was the 17th Super Bowl, so 16th season.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Stat rankings. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
Nah,
I'm
I
fact
get it.
checking you. I'm fact
Go ahead.
checking
No,
you
please,
right now.
please
While
do.
you fact check,
Please
I'll
do.
say
Fact
Please
checking.
do.
I got a lot of people close to me that are huge Cowboy fans, so they would crucify me if
if you went against them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hold strong. I'm holding the line, baby.
All right. I like it. I can't bet against the damn freaking
Yeah.
against Brady. I've been a Dolphins fan my entire life. Having to go up against Brady for as long as I did divisionally,
Yeah.
you just can't bet against Tom Brady. It's just you just can't. Like the freaking NFL gods literally will crucify you
They were,
if
they
you
were
bet
the
against
8th
them.
ranked defense.
8th ranked. Okay, so then the
Yeah.
article I read was wrong. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Cap.
No. I pulled up an article when we were talking
Cap
about
on its
ones
ass,
versus
boy.
twos.
I'm just messing with you.
When we pulled, I pulled an article quick just to check it. So the article was wrong.
Yeah, they were
It's
8th
fine.
ranked.
Okay.
Number 8.
I mean, that's still pretty damn good.
I mean, yeah, but you know, when you're the number 1 defense, that's
Yeah,
really
no,
serious.
100%. These are going to be some great games. I'm excited for them. We'll have to see how they play out. Going to be some great freaking football this weekend. That's for damn sure.
Oh, one thing I wanted to touch on real quick though.
Go ahead.
That we didn't get to because we advanced.
Yes.
Bro, dude, Jalen Hurts was on pace to do something I don't think a quarterback's ever done.
What's that?
He had, hold on,
Pulling it back up again.
in 15 games, he had, bro, why I hate this. I hate the ESPN one. I hate this is, hold on.
I'm holding.
Technical difficulties here, bro. God dang it. All right, here we go. Wait, yeah. Oh, there we go. All right.
Wait.
He had in 15 games, because obviously he missed 2.
Yes.
He had 3,700 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 6 picks.
Mhm.
But he also had 760 rushing yards and
Okay.
13 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
So if he played the last 2 games effectively,
Yeah.
those numbers would have been historical.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I could have seen at least 17 rushing touchdowns probably out of him this year.
I don't think a quarterback's ever done that.
Rushing touchdowns to passing touchdowns. Yeah, I mean that's pushing 40 touchdowns.
I mean, 22 and 13.
You would have probably been pushing 40 touchdowns combined.
Bruh.
I mean, he was
That's
having a great year. Yeah.
Different.
He was
bro.
having a great year, definitely. But
Bro,
other
imagine
than
if he
that,
dould have been a 4,000, 1,000 guy with those numbers too. Holy shit.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But other than
God
that,
dang.
Doobie, I appreciate you for coming on the show, brother.
Yeah.
We've been wanting you to on the show for a while, honestly, because like I know your football knowledge is crazy, like your sports knowledge in general is crazy, but we wanted to have you on because we wanted to get your opinions on a lot of stuff, and you touched on a lot, so I really do appreciate you being on here. We'll have to definitely get you back on here for sure.
Dude, thank you. I really appreciate being here. Super fun. I mean, you guys are geniuses in this whole regard. So, an honor to be here, man. Yeah, if you ever when we come by, I mean, this was a blast. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Of course,
let the
yeah,
people-
definitely.
Let the
Wh-
people know where they can check you
Yeah,
out, man.
where can they find you, Doobie?
Oh, you can find me over at twitch.tv/thedoobie, TheeDoobie. Also, it's the same handle on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter's _Doobie. So check me out on all those. I appreciate you guys for real.
Hey, no,
you.
thank you, man.
We'll drop your links in the description.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep,
I
definitely.
appreciate it.
Of
for real.
course, man. Other than that, though, ready for some good football, a good playoff
Yeah.
football. We will catch you guys in the next episode. It will be the divisional rounds next weekend. So we'll catch you guys then. Hope you guys have a great nights. And be sure to follow Doobie. Go follow him on all the socials.
Appreciate it, man.
Of course. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.